Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everyone this fine Monday? I hope everyone's had a fabulous weekend. I hope results have gone in your favour. Do let me know how your weekend was. Lovely to see some people in already. We've got the glorious, the wonderful Zerachul in. He's currently hiding indoors because there's a foot of snow and -3 degrees centigrade. Now, look, I'm someone who likes the cold, but that seems maybe just a little bit too much. I hope you are keeping warm and snuggling in. We also have the glorious H-Tank 30 in. How are you, sir? Thankfully, feeling better after a few days. I mean, yes, you said last week that you're a little bit under the weather. Seemed to be lingering for a while as well. So glad to hear that it's finally passing. Now, we have an even bigger, more special thank you to the glorious Relay Gegenpressing. Wonderful, thank you so much for the raid. Currently doing his real director save, so you've got the input from like what's going on with all the signings and stuff like that. Currently in charge of Templey, having moved there from Heidenheim. Sounds amazing. I love the fact that you've had this like drama, this conflict throughout the stream over this striker that one wants to get rid of and the other wants going. It's brilliant. That's what you want. That's the excitement. That's the narrative. Sounds absolutely amazing. Welcome in, DM Bassist and Cameron, both of you north of the border. Lovely to have you in. I hope you're doing well. We've got a little bit of El Norby in. We've got Johnson. We've got Tibbo all arriving around the same time. Welcome in. We've got Knight of Knee as well. How are you all? We've got Eunice in. Eunice Gaming, thank you very much for the follow, by the way. And also, there was a few follows whilst we were offline. So you Thacker, Terriers on tour, Why Always Dean, and Eunice yourself, and then Martin coming over from the raid. Thank you all very much for the follows. So Knight of Knee is saying that it's going to be short but nice. FM Productive managed to finally end his first season with Sport Receive, and he's just been promoted to Serie A. As you popped in the Discord as well, congratulations, fantastic achievement, my dude. Level is in. Welcome in, Level. How are you? DM Basis says -3 degrees is warm by Scottish standards. Fair enough. I mean, like, somewhere around 0, as far as I'm concerned, is perfect. It's cold enough to just about turn on the heating without having to turn that heating on too high. We've got a Quadmo in. Welcome in, my dude. I hope you're doing very well. Tom is in as well. Your club lost bottom of the league and fired the manager about 4 months too late. But I'm alive and the club will be back next season. Oh dear, that isn't great. Who do you support, Tom? I don't know enough about the other leagues to know who are currently bottom. I know that Swansea have just parted way with their manager this afternoon, but I have no idea how they're doing in the league. All right, welcome in Worms, welcome in Hungermin and the medical car. Lovely to see you all. Johnson's PC's been having some troubles, but it's up and running again now. So you've started a new save with Hanover. Fantastic, with a 24-25 database, leaving your director of football to do all the transfer business. Sounds good. You won the second Bundesliga in your first season. However, you're struggling in season 2, currently sat in 17th with 9 games to go. That sounds very much like it's going to be squeaky bum time. Should be dramatic to the end at least. So Level is excited to be on the stream in time. It's lovely to see you in, my dude. Nero is here as well. First time he's caught the stream. Welcome on in. Martin says hello from Uruguay. Arrived here from the... yes, indeed, Martin. Arrived here with Relay Hell. I believe you have been in as well. I think it came over the last time as well. It's lovely to see you, my dude. Right, shall we get you guys up to speed with what's been going on in the save and what we're going to be doing today? Let's head on over to the main game. You've seen enough of my face now. Arguably far too much. So DM Basis, is that a collection of beanies? That is my 3 beanies that I rotate through indeed. I couldn't decide on a hat today. Went with the Cleveland Browns cap. Just one of those things, you know, we need to coordinate a little bit. So DM Basis ready for another Davy Selka masterclass. And right, okay. So let's get this clear right off the top. We got promoted at the end of last stream. We finished second. We could have won the league, but we threw it away on the last day of the season. Not too much of an issue. I think we've done brilliantly to finish up there when you've got teams like Hamburg, Schalke, St. Pauli, Mainz, all vying for promotion. So we've done well. That does mean there probably won't be any football actually play today. We're going to be looking through the squad. We're going to be looking at transfer targets. And that means that all the work I've done on background songs won't get revealed. Or will it? Because you have mentioned Davy Selke the GOAT. So let's give a little bit of a preview of the Davy Selke celebration song when he does score.
Davy, 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 come on, Davy's the answer. Because you may be a striker and you score for Darmstadt. Davy Selke, Davy Selke, Davy Selke.
And I am 100% certain that any monetization that happens from these live streams is now gone because I've had the temerity to use a Beatles song. Right, so yeah, this is where we're at. We are very much promoted. We've got to plan really, and we're going to have to be quite careful with our planning because we have €2.5 million budget. We do have 200k in wages to work with. So we might need to spend some of that focusing on keeping our players around, and we're probably going to need to use a fair bit of it in terms of improving the squad as well. So I think the first 10% of transfer revenue is made available. Was that 30% last? Fucking hell. Oh, we've sworn right off the top. Right off the top, my word. Yeah, that is shocking. Increased percentage of transfer revenue. Dropping us down to 10%. So yeah, ideally, we don't want to be selling much in the way of players because we're going to receive absolutely bugger all of it. Okay, so Coritiba is in, by the way. Welcome in. Currently, we only have one midfielder who isn't a defensive midfielder in the squad, so we don't create. That is a pretty horrendous situation. So the big question for today is, what is wrong with your team? What are the things that you want the team to fix over the next few months? It might be that they can't because it's a transfer issue. It might be like Coritiba, is that they don't have any creativity in advanced positions. I'd love to know. I know as a Villa fan, I think our issue is very much making sure that we're working as a team and creating space for one another rather than being selfish. I think that we struggled to beat Ipswich at the weekend. Largely, there was some bad finishing, but also a lot of the movement and interplay was very, very selfish. And it's a little bit of a concern. So safe pair of hands is in, currently doing an Ajax Johan Cruyff recreation, top of the league, still in the cup and in the Champions League playoffs. Sounds absolutely marvellous. Crudmo's in as well. Nothing. I already know that Crudmo's in. We've already said hello to Crudmo. So nothing is wrong with Everton at all. We are the greatest football team the world has ever seen or will ever see. Open parentheses, hyperbole, close parentheses. I don't know what you mean. I mean, it's going well for Everton, going very, very well for Everton. Tom is a Cambridge United fan. Okay. So do you think that you've got enough going on, Tom, that you will be able to bounce back next season? So I'm going to be looking through the squad during the course of this mainly. So we've got Nicholas Saka. My word, welcome in, Dave. Dave and the raid. Thank you very much, my dude. How was your stream? You guys have timed this wonderfully. We've just started. So we're going to carry on through a little bit and... oh, I need to be quiet, I think. No, we don't. It's going to take a while. So we've just started the stream. We're going to be going through and assessing our squad at the moment. So a lovely time to come in and learn...
It's not the statistics! It's not the statistics! You tell me! How do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Cameron, you absolute gentleman, subscribing with your Prime, thank you very much. I thought that notification was going to come through a little bit earlier, which is why I paused. You are an absolute gentleman. So yes, those who have come in from the raids, we've had a raid from Relay, Halgagen Pressing, and from Guja, you absolute stars. Yeah, we are going to be learning quite a bit about the team over the next few moments. So this is a perfect time to show up. We have just completed our 6th season. So this is our first full season in charge of Darmstadt. We've just got promoted. We're now having to plan for, hopefully, our survival at Bundesliga level. So let me do the honours, Dave, and get that shout out as well. If you guys aren't following Dave, you really, really should. An absolute legend star, so calm, so wonderful. He's just got this voice that you want to listen to for hours, which is good because he streams, so you can. Yeah, lovely to have you in. How was the stream? So yeah, this is our squad. We're going to be going through this as we go. Now, I did notice, look, Mar, by the way, thank you for redeeming the mystery minigame. If you're okay with it, what we'll do is we'll go through this for a little bit and then we'll jump on over once we've kind of got into the swing of things, if that's cool. So Level, by the way, is currently managing Ligue 2 with Saint-Etienne, and you're using the strike tactics. Let me tell you, it's one of the most fun tactics I've seen, and right now we are first. Cannot wait to party to Liga. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely incredible. Right, so yes, it was the Helter Skelter. Now I see whereabouts we are. I do apologise. Zerachul says that the big question, they are not in season since the Norwegian one only starts the 29th of March. That's a very good thing to be wrong. No football is the worst situation there possibly can be. Look, Mark says, betting my house that Nabil Bentaleb will be an answer on one of tonight's minigames. That is a bold take. A bold take. Now, if you guys aren't aware, Nabil Bentaleb had a cardiac arrest a little while back, made his return to football yesterday, and scored, like within moments of coming on as a substitute. Fantastic story. Yeah, I do apologise. Dean Basis doesn't know where to begin with a big question about Rangers. That's fair. You've joined the Beto Club for being blocked by the Beatles. Oh, Mr. Grizzly Pete, it's almost certainly going to happen, isn't it? Absolutely. As Energy's in, welcome in, my dude. Lovely to see you. Look, Mars issue. We need to get rid of our wingers and replace them with 2 more Elises. Oh, I mean, that's just being greedy now, isn't it, man? That's just being greedy. You've got one Elise. So many teams would kill for one Elise. Yeah, I think you're being selfish. So, Warm says, as bad as Villa's defence has been compared to last season, the final third is the main problem. Lost that ruthlessness. I agree with you completely. Now, I mean, you've got to consider, it's a similar thing to what I've been saying about Ange with Tottenham, is that you've got to, you will get setbacks. You've got to deal with it, and you've got to protect your defence when you go through lots of injuries like that. And actually, Villa have done a pretty good job of that. We are going to concede goals because we have had to shift our back line around quite a lot. In the end, we ended up facing something like 0.4 XG on Saturday, and we conceded a goal. We did a pretty good job of restricting chances, albeit against 10 men. That's relatively easy to do. The fact that we generated over 2 XG and only scored 1 goal, clearly the issue there. We went to be attacking and enterprising. We've got to finish those chances. We really, really need to finish those chances. So South has been solid. Kept out as many goals as he's kind of expected. Done okay sweeping. Benjamin Larde didn't play enough minutes, 180 minutes, but there's nothing to suggest that we're going to bring him back next year. Went's contract is up. He's gone as well. So we need a goalkeeper for next season. Definitely need a goalkeeper. Now, the fact that Sauter was just, like, good enough, I have no issues with Nicholas Sauter. He's solid, he's fine, but if you think that we're going to be now stepping up a division, you probably you'd have a lot more faith if he was excelling at this level, if that makes sense. Welcome in, Doc Linoiledop. That's a very, very weird first message. I love having you in, but goodbye. So Crabmo missed the shout out. That's no problem whatsoever, my dude. Johnson says, for the big question, our attackers are mostly average. We need someone who can get 20 to 30 goals / assists per season, but currently our 8 attackers can't seem to do that combined. That's talking about Hanover. That is a worry. That is very much a worry. So at centre back, we have Gaston Avila. He was a free transfer signing over the summer. We have people very much interested in him, which is a little bit of a worry. I think his release clause is something like 4 million euros. It is indeed. So we might see if we can get him interested in a new contract, because he's been very good. Very good indeed. 81% tackle win rate, 70% header win rate, really quite progressive in the 95th percentile for progressive passes. He's a player I'm very, very happy with. Tubeck. Oh dear. Tubeck's been shit. 61% tackle win rate, 64% header win rate. He's young. He's 20 years old, right? Again, doing pretty decent in terms of progression. Not so great in terms of other areas. In a back three, you know, that does kind of protect him a little bit, but that's not really... I very, very much... I don't think he's going to be able to make that step up. So possibly a player that we end up looking to loan out or sell. I mean, it's only here and being interested in him. His minimum release clause is about 5 million euros. We signed him for about 2 million euros. That's a little bit disappointing. I didn't realise he was quite so bad. Who else did we have at centre back? So we signed Kenneth Schmidt. So Gudja says, apologies, had to step away, hope you're well. No need to apologise whatsoever. How was your stream, my dude? Max is asking who's talking about Hanover. Max, that would be Jonsa. Jonsa over on YouTube. Jonsa's been our font of knowledge when it comes to all things Finland as well, whilst we're with IFK Mariehamn. An absolute gentleman. Hank asks, is he related to Avia the striker? I don't think so, is he? He is. There we go. His brother is was he the striker? Was Ezekiel Avia a striker? He's related to this one anyway, at least. Does it actually say in here what his position was? It doesn't. But he is now a head of youth development who likes to use young players. That's a good sign for a head of youth development. So yeah, I mean, like 4 goals in 10 in his last season. That suggests he might be a striker. Yeah, maybe we could look at bringing him in to try and sweeten the situation, make him want to stick around. So yeah, Kenneth Schmidt, we bought him in. He's a big money signing. 8 million euros in January, 86% tackle win rate, 71% headers win rate. That's pretty solid. Not as progressive, which is quite a surprise considering he tries long range passes. But I think he's solid. So I think with Schmidt and Avia, we've got some good centre backs there. Was Gimba better than Tubek? Could we go for 3 left-footed centre backs? 84% tackle win rate is good. 56% header win rate is absolutely shocking. So no, he's not better than... I mean, he's not that much worse in header win rate. He might be better than Tubek, but neither of them are what I would necessarily consider to be good. So those are centre backs. Mousehound we signed. He's split his time between centre back and defensive midfield, so it's a little bit difficult to judge entirely there. Tackle win rate generally is lower for defensive midfielders than it is for centre backs. So I imagine if he was playing centre back more regularly, that'd be higher. But headers won tends to be the other way round, so that's a little bit concerning. But as a backup option, I think he's okay. It's difficult to assess either as a centre back or a defensive midfielder because he did virtually an even amount of time at both. But he scored a really, really cool goal. He got a nice little assist. He's got some flexibility. He can even play in goal. Look at that. Can even play in goal. So looking at this initially, I think that for next season, Avia, if we can keep him around, Schmidt, that's 2 of our 3 starting defenders sorted. Tubek, Mousehound, Gimba, I'd be happy with some of them as backups. Maybe move... So I maybe would be inclined to think, move on Gimba, try and get Tubek out on loan, Mousehound as a backup, bring in 1 starter, 1 backup. But that might not be possible. So we'll have to see him play that by ear. So El Norby says, what's the worst thing about his team at the moment is that defensive midfield, that you're too defensive minded and let the opponent get back into the game. During the last 2 matches, we had 1 major defensive error before the full-time whistle. Like that is the risk, isn't it? When you kind of sit back and absorb. That seems perfectly reasonable. Lewis is in. Welcome in, my dude. Lovely to see you. How are you? How's your weekend been? And Mr. Grizzly Peas, what's the worst thing about Tottenham? It's being Tottenham. That is as good a reason as any. Right, Anton Guy, right back, has had quite a few injury problems. He's doing, as a right wing back, he's doing what I want him to do. He's winning tackles, he's pressuring the opposition, he's creating chances. Brilliant. He's doing that in a really, really high quantity. I feel comfortable with him as our starting right back next season. My only issue is that he has now been, since we signed him, he's not injury prone. I can bring up his report. Injury proneness isn't a con. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 injuries since we've signed him last summer, which is a little bit of a concern. So we'll have to see. I definitely think we need to have dependable cover behind him. So Jonsa says it's going to be a big summer as you realistically see 6 to 8 of Hanover's starting 11 leaving or retiring. I hope we can at least keep Rabbi Matondo and Hoinju Lee permanently as we have buy options. That'd be good. That would be good. So William Rashidi here. Not as good tackling, 71% to 78%, but is doing the things that we want. So that's quite promising. Got 1 year left on his contract, 2030. And he is wanted by teams. Hansa Rostock, they're in our division. Roda, I think, are in the Keukenkampioen division, so the second division of Netherlands. I'm not sure about Racing Santander. Are they in... they are about to be relegated. Or potentially. They might survive. There is a chance they survive. I know Roda are in the Eredivisie. So maybe we sell him, maybe we don't. He missed a lot of the season because of injury. Now, he is injury prone, I think. No, he's not injury prone. He just had a horrible broken lower leg this season, as he kind of earned himself a starting spot. So maybe that's something we might explore. See if we get people to buy. 1.7 million euros isn't much. I think, though, if there is like a bidding war, and we can get that up over, say, 3-4 million, maybe there's a worth in letting him go. Now, we did bring in Ben Dover, nicknamed. I think he was called Tomazevic. He's only played 230 minutes, so we can't judge, but doesn't look that encouraging right now. But most of the times he's been coming on in like the last 10 minutes or so. So Nevsky over on YouTube says, hi, hope you're well. The video I watched yesterday, Christian Strike, I enjoyed it so much. I've done a similar formation in your Nuremberg save. You're a legend and got to be say one of the best YouTubers. It's not even close. That's very kind. Thank you very much, my dude. I definitely wouldn't say I agree, but I appreciate the kind words nonetheless. So Guja's stream was good. Turned form around nicely in season 4 in the MLS. Made the final of the League Cup. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely awesome. How comfortable do you feel with all the contract rules in the MLS? Because like after 4 seasons, you've got to be an expert now, right? You've got to be an expert. So there is confirmation that it is the striker. So at left back, we have Brian Hine. He's joining the team that won the league, Hamburg, on a free transfer. But like with the other wing backs on the right, tackle win rate a little bit low, pressures creates that's kind of what we want. And so Tim Muller was the player we were hoping to have fill that role. He wins his tackles at a higher rate, pressures more, slightly less creative. They are really, really good performances for a wing back in our system. I think Tim Muller is okay. And I think a lot of what we're going to be doing today is accepting that we're not going to have stars in all positions for the Bundesliga. We're going to probably look to have 1 or 2 players for next season that we can say, yes, we think they're going to be really good. And the rest are going to be players that are probably on the peripheries of being acceptable. And we're going to be flying by the seat of our pants. And I think Tim Muller sits in that peripheries of acceptable kind of space. Right. Who was our other player? We have Fabian Nürnberger. Now, he played loads of places. He played in midfield. He played at right wing back and at left wing back for us. So we can't really judge from the pizza chart particularly well that sense. He's in his last year of his contract. He's on a very, very high wage, but his flexibility is very, very useful to us. So probably worth keeping around just for that element. So nickname is in. Welcome in, nickname. Lovely to see you, my dude. Max's opinion on Hanover is dominating every game and failing to win because of atrocious finishing. Never seen anything like that in a stadium for a long time. That, I mean, especially after such a long journey for you as well. Absolutely incredible. DM Basis wants someone to sell Rabbi Matondo permanently. There we go. We've got an agreement in place. I mean, I don't think you need to run it by the board anymore. Lumi is in. Welcome in, my dude. Lovely to see you. And what I'm going to do now is actually Lukmar. Oh, perfect timing. Lukmar has just commented as well. On the peripheries of acceptable. Most of my teachers back in the day about your behaviour in class. Fair enough. Fair enough. Right. Now, I did say we were going to get through a few players before we head on over to play a mystery minigame. And Lukmar redeemed one earlier on. So let's start off the stream as we tend to do with a little round of Guess the Player. It's a really, really simple game, right? You're going to see 4 snapshots from a player's profile in FM24, one after the other. You're going to see the positions they play. You're going to see their attributes. You're going to see their scout report, and you're going to see their career history. Your job is to guess who that player is. The earlier you guess, the more points you get. And that puts you on that lovely little scoreboard beneath us. We run one all time. As you can see, currently, Out Farby is in 3rd. And we run one weekly as well. It's a brand new week, so no one's on that leaderboard yet. Just one word of, I say, warning. This is based on FM24 at the beginning of the game with the default database. So if you take a player like Joshua Xerxes, for example, who moved to Manchester United in the summer, well, at the beginning of FM24 in the default database, he will be at Bologna. So just keep that in mind. Let's head on over to the very first clue and see if anyone knows who this might be. It's a left-footed advanced playmaker. Apparently, only 2.5 stars at whichever club it is that he starts at. So, Hungdamin says, Racing Santander relegated. It looks that way. I mean, this is 2029 now, though. So, kind of makes sense. Johnson's over on Twitch now as they are fellow Hanover fans. Fabulous. Max, he'd love to have Matondo, being able to create chances on his own, winning 1v1s constantly, high speed and acceleration. You're missing that profile. But, I mean, if you're having problems scoring, is he part of the problem? So the Guja is now, you're quite comfortable with the MLS rules. At the start, like sitting naked on a bed of sharpened nails. Hey, I mean, it's just been Valentine's Day. Some people have strange kinks. You would have struggled without the glorious Benny. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yashvir is in. Welcome in. Mate, that's a sick beard. How long you been keeping it? Thank you. It's a little bit on the short side at the moment. I over-trimmed a little while back and had to cut it all the way back. But pretty much on and off for the last 20 years. I had a beard at like 14 and I've very rarely gone without. Right, so we have some guesses coming in. Is it Nabil Bentaleb? I mean, you would think so, wouldn't it? It's not, though, unfortunately. Is it Slaymar, Enzo Lafitte, Marco Alonso, Yannick Rochelt, and Slaymar again, Nicholas Raskin, Gavi, Asensio, Julian Brandt, Felix Nemacha, Ilkay Gundogan, Kevin Sturger, Lo Celso, Fabian Ruiz, Koba Line Kudradi, Lucas Nemacha, Mikel Oyarzabal, Royce. Now, this is the problem with me trying to keep up and use the very first clue to get through chat, because we have a correct answer. We have a correct answer hidden within that list that I've just read out. Now, the question is, which one is it? Let's move to the next clue. Somebody's got themselves 5 points. I'm not going to tell you who. Let's see if the next clue makes people realise who it might be. Now, Lignorm thinks it's Fabian Ruiz. He's gone like, we've got a correct answer, and he thinks it's Fabian. He thinks it's Fabian. DM Basis is absolutely certain it's Nicholas Raskin. He knows I'm a Nicholas Raskin fan, so that kind of does make sense. Oh, it's Oyarzabal, says Crudmo. Oh, it's Oyarzabal. Well, is it? No, it's not. No, it's not, because they start the game at a Premier League club. Neither Oyarzabal or Fabian start at a Premier League club. Now, technically, you don't really think of him as a Premier League player because he spent most of his career, he spent a decent amount of his career contracted to Tottenham without playing for Tottenham, because it is indeed Mr. Grizzly P guest, Giovanni Lo Celso. And there we go. You guys picked it up as we were going through there. Max worked it out. Medical car. Eunice. Hungdamin. What a fabulous guess from Mr. Grizzly P right at the beginning, just based on positions. I mean, left-footed kind of makes sense. That does kind of limit your options when you're looking at a central midfielder. But that was fantastic work. It was the first player you sell in your Tottenham saves. Well, there we go. Now, does that make you change your mind? Lo Celso has now given you an exceptionally important 5 points. Surely that buys him a little bit of time in the next time you do a Tottenham save, right? Crodmo, told you it was a Yatabal. Exactly. So Lignorn has always assumed that Lo Celso's right-footed. Shows my ball knowledge there. Why does Lo Celso actually look good in FM? Lo Celso has been good in Spain. Like, every time he goes out on loan to La Liga, brilliant. And then he comes back to Tottenham, and Tottenham are like, nah, we don't want you. We want... Granted, I don't see how he would ever fit in the Ange system, which tends to be a lot more transitional, a little bit less about control. But I feel like there's a good player in there, a very, very good player in there. Lukamar says there's been some mix-up, I guess, but Bentaleb was supposed to be in there, quite possibly. Now, I will give you a little bit of a clue that sometimes, especially when we've got the weekend, I might do my prep for this stream before Monday. Just to give me a little bit of time. Now, I say that. I think I prepared like 3 of the games before today. So maybe there's a spot. Right, back to the squad. Lucas Ferd's contract expires in just over a month's time. He wins his tackles. 84% tackle win rate for defensive midfielder is good. But playing mainly as like a Carrilero or defensive midfielder, he's not been very progressive, doesn't really help us move between the lines, doesn't really offer much in terms of pressuring or winning the ball. So I'm not too worried about letting him go. Noah Mbamba hasn't been that great in terms of winning possession either. Wins tackles at a lower rate. I really like that he wins 70% of his headers and that he's quite progressive and safe at the same time. And Mbamba's solid. I might be feeling, looking at that he's the kind of player I'd want on the bench. I don't necessarily want him to be a starter, potentially, looking at that. Alex Garrido was brought in to play as a roaming playmaker, which he's not been good at. Does win his tackles, which is great. Does pressure more than the other two. Not as progressive as Mbamba. A bit more creative, but I would have liked the creativity to be higher. Pardon me. A bit underwhelming. Someone I again think might be on the edges of things at the moment. Right, it's -4 in Germany. That's crazy. Quan says Lo Celso would have his hamstrings explode just by looking at Ange's system, possibly his ACLs too. Very fair point. Very fair point. So Eunice says Lo Celso was your hero in your save in Spain with Betis in FM20. It's where he's meant to be. He is meant to be a La Liga player. Right, Benjamin Birch. He hasn't played enough minutes. 476 minutes, the equivalent of just over 5 full games. It's not enough to judge. But he is getting forwards and impacting the final third, which is what we want. We've often used him as a Mazzala. So there is something encouraging there, although his dribbling could do with being better. Right, so let's have a look there. It's -10 degrees for Lukmar. That is obscene. That is truly, truly obscene. But Lukmar's wearing a vest left open. That's fair. It's -12 in Finland. Oh boy, Jesus! I here I am saying that I like the cold. I am not cut out for some of those temperatures though. Right, Ollie Cooper also played under 10 full games. Again, playing in a more attacking capacity. Did okay in terms of creativity and dribbling, and in pestering the opposition. Again, maybe serviceable as kind of like a backup rotation option. We're saying this about a lot of players, which is a bit worrying. Right, Rocco Vata played as a false 9, so I'm going to look at him like an attacking midfielder, because that's kind of what a false 9 is, as well as playing otherwise on the wing. created, which is great, didn't dribble that much, scored under his XG, which is a concern, given kind of what we would want from a false nine. Should be scoring as well. 5 goals from 6.82 XG in 1800 minutes isn't good enough. I'm going to skip to Forkall, because Forkall's kind of played the same, been used as a false nine or as a winger. He's outscored his XG. So in less than half the minutes, he's contributed nearly as many goals. So 7 goals and assists combined compared to 10 by Rocco even. Rocco is wanted by Leicester, Ipswich and Al Fire. We signed him on a free transfer. Minimum fee release clause is for domestic clubs, 14 million. I think Vata might be sold. If we get 10% of the selling price, we could make a whole 1.4 million. Add that to our transfer budget. Wouldn't we be lucky? So it's the Iron Brew. It's the national drink up there. Exactly. That's how you get through. Those temperatures. Right. So Roman Essa played mainly as a Mazzala, occasionally as a striker. So kind of a very similar profile to Rocco Vata. Rocco Vata played more off the wings, more in an attacking capacity. Essa played, generally speaking, a little bit deeper. But Essa is a little bit more dribbly, a little bit less creative, scores more from lower XG, better in the air, better pressures, more involved on the ball. I like Essa. I feel like Essa is ahead of Vata in my assessment there, but could be better. Granted, those 17 goals and assists is a pretty decent return for his first season. I think we can just about get away with that. Have we got any of these other players we've missed out? No. John Hendry didn't play enough minutes, 224 minutes. He's only 16. Not a large part of our plans in the first team squad for next season. Hopefully we can get, once he signs his first professional contract, we can get him out on loan and serve his development that way. So Ellis Sims. Ellis Sims scored 12 goals in 1,500 minutes. Pretty decent return. He's doing the things we want from our central striker. He's outperforming his XG. He's getting loads of shots off. He's winning loads of headers. 48% is really, really good. He's pressuring the opposition. Perfect. If it wasn't for injuries, he would be our starter. But he did have injuries, and we needed some consistency up front. And so in came Davy Selke. And Davy Selke also outscored his XG. And he created chances for others. And he got loads of shots off. And he won loads of headers at a higher win rate. And he was pressuring. Davy Selke, when I'm talking about players needing to be exceptional at this level for us to feel like they're going to be good at Bundesliga level, Davy Selke's still got it. We'll see how much he declines over the summer as he's 34 years old now. But Davy Selke is the man. He is the man. So Hungdamin says SSS Nyon must stay. He's Bundesliga ready. Everton legend Ellis Sims, absolutely. Max says, I know the viewer's name not available publicly, but is it possible to recreate that anyhow, or will it break shit regardless? Okay, so to explain a little bit about part of the issues here is that, one, this has to kind of be built specifically for the resolution, so that it fits in that gap. But more specifically, it's actually based around this screen here. So this screen here, it's a specific class, a specific special type of screen called a training squad screen, that has these weird little rules that allow it to pop up the information on the side, and that you can multi-select and things like that, which means that it only works in contexts where you can use training screens. So for example, if you ever want to manage a national team, you can't, because there isn't a training screen for national teams. There is no training that they control, and subsequently this kind of screen doesn't work. And you get a whole load of other weird artifacts where if you like hover over certain things, it'll like bounce all around the place. So I won't be doing it publicly because I can't be supporting answering questions that'll be, this doesn't work. Me saying I know over and over again, it'll drive me mad. However, you can, if you pop on over to the SI forums, there is an explanation there in one of the threads. I think it's the small questions threads as to how I did it. And it's just a case of changing classes in the properties file, closing down the game, opening it up again, and the actual files for it are within the skin. Then there is the other option, as Lukmar says, all skins that I create are available to patrons. They do come as they are. So for example, with this skin, this is designed specifically for 1600 by 900 resolution because that's what I stream at, so that it's not all like really small and condensed on the screen, and it won't necessarily look good at different resolutions. So that is part of the benefits over on Patreon, which you can consider subscribing to, but I wouldn't consider it good enough as a benefit on its own. So only consider signing up if you like the rest of the package as well. I'm really, really bad at selling myself, aren't I? You know, I should be saying, yes, sign up to the Patreon, but I always want to make sure that people understand that, you know, it's there if you want to, no obligation whatsoever. Right, let's talk tactics. So this is what we've been using, this mainly during the last end of the season. And what I'm thinking is, instead of looking for false nines, why don't we turn it into a 3-4-3 like so? So that player would probably, which player would be, that player would be the second striker, and if this would be Essa, we'd want to give him instructions a little bit like a Mazzala, so that would be, I prefer moving to channels over stay wider there. I think they roam from position, they dribble more, they take more risks. Is that right? Let's pop you up here and just check what the instructions are for an attacking Mazzala. Take more risks, get further forward, stay wider, move into channels, roam from position. I wouldn't necessarily add get further forwards because he's already further forwards than a central midfielder is, if that makes sense. So yeah, have him as the kind of Mazzala type there, him as the kind of false nine, but starting deeper. So he naturally is already in midfield and then gets forward rather than the other way round. That would mean we'd actually probably want the wing back on that side. Sorry, the complete wing back and the supporting wing back on that side. What am I thinking here? So this would be the more defensive minded midfielder. So you'd have him being instructed to hold position, because if you've got him going forwards in the space where he's the less attacking of the two, they'll be kind of conflicting for the same space. Whereas on this side, this player can play further forwards, because as he pushes up, there should be a space vacated kind of around here. Got the wing back, not as attacking to cover that side, wing back across there. So I'm thinking something like that for next season. So that would be, let's in fact, like these are all saved. So let's clear these slots out so that when we come to looking at the squad planner, we're just dealing with the one, which would be nice and straightforward. So by the way, I do apologize trying to catch up with chat as much as I possibly can. So let's see, Gamer Raptor, by the way, thank you very much for the follow. And why always me? Really, really appreciate it. Lovely to have you in. Lukmar says that Selka's reliant on his physicals like a motherfucker, so age might hit him extra hard. Quite possibly. I think we should still be able to get a season out of him, which is what we've got him under contract for. And Sims, I think, is okay. I would probably be looking for a third striker, even in a one-striker system, though, I will be honest. Rick Name says, have you seen the new community modded match engine? I haven't seen the new one. I looked at the original ones and was underwhelmed by them. I know that they are updating them regularly, and that kind of like as a public release, updating and being new every couple of days isn't necessarily that helpful for me to go and look at one if I know it's going to be replaced 2 days later, and looking at that info is going to be kind of redundant. So I'll see. I'm going to wait until it kind of settles down a bit, until they actually feel they might be comfortable with it as a relatively complete product, and then I'm going to take a look at it once we're at that point. So next season we don't have those. Sauter's okay. I wouldn't mind someone better there. At right centre back, we are looking at something like those two that I'm not convinced are starters. Where is Schmidt? So Schmidt's a starter, Avia's a starter. We could do with some depth there. Right back, that is exactly the order we want. We might end up cashing in on Rashidi. At left back, Hein is gone. Muller could be good enough. Defensive midfielders. So, in the more defensive capacity, like Froeder's expiring. Gimber we consider as a centre-back. Nürnberger, yeah, I'm quite happy with Nürnberger. Garrido would probably be in the more attacking option, as would Bernsch, sorry. So, currently, I think that our options in midfield look something a little bit like that. I don't know if Nürnberger is the starter there. Nürnberger's flexibility kind of makes him a +1 everywhere. Here, we're looking at Esser on the left, Cooper, Porkel. Batter can't play that role, but that would be kind of where he fits in the scheme of things, which is why I think we also potentially cash in on him if we can. And then up front, so we end up with something like that, I think. FMG&G's in. Welcome in, my dude. Lovely to see you. How are you? How's your weekend? The Kver says, because we always 1600 by 9900. We always do. Go on, just got what could be a big point versus Dortmund with 10 men. Halstenberg scoring a penalty in the 94th minute. Awesome, Johnson. Incredible. So Adam is in. Welcome in, Adam. How are you doing, sir? How was your weekend? That's definitely skipped past a whole load. I've missed some. Right, that makes much more sense. Fajita is your favourite Dragon Ball character? I know nothing about Dragon Ball, but I do like fajitas. So Cameron's pasta with a fajita sauce. Nice. I mean, fajitas, amazing. Absolutely amazing. DM Basis likes a calzone, but inside is fajita sauce and pasta. That sounds... pasta inside a calzone. Incredible. I mean, it sounds wrong, but it also sounds amazing. Right, okay. Right, I've done an awful job at catching up on chat. I do apologise. Do spam the chat with a lot more, if I've missed something, you want me to comment on it, do mention it, but do wait roughly about 3 minutes, because we've got a break coming up. So I'm going to go and do the honours. I'm going to go to the toilet, refill my drink and whatnot, and then I'll see you guys in about 3 to 4 minutes. See you then. Right, we're back. Well, about 10 seconds early anyway. So Adam asking, have we signed Shambos yet? We haven't yet, but I'll be honest, if we look at this, I don't think those players have a future with us. Forkel is a backup. So I realistically want 2 attacking midfielders. So who knows? Maybe this is the time for Shambos to return. I also see, who was it who was talking about pasta chips? Zenergy, you really want to try making pasta chips. Apparently cooking the pasta normally, then air frying it makes it taste amazing. That sounds interesting. That definitely sounds interesting. I see, so Lukmar has said that in real life, Fabian Nürnberger recently got an 8-game ban after punching a player in the face during a scuffle that started because of his prior red card foul. The Darmstadt coach said it's one of the dumbest things he has ever seen on the pitch. Okay. Does he have, do they say anything about him being competitive? Maybe a dirty streak? Maybe his attributes need to be updated to point out that he's a bit of a dick. Well, there we go. Oh well, I'm gonna have to. Do I have to pretend it doesn't happen? Because that's the kind of thing that would make me say, "Cool, that's it." He's not part of what we do here. We're better than that. But oh. How disappointing. And how old is Nürnberger? So he's 29 in game. 4 years ago, he would have been 25. Oh, 25 as well. He should know better. Disgraceful. Apparently it's his first red card in his professional career. What a way to react. What a way to react to that. My word. So, Johnson says, funnily enough, despite living in the sports capital of Finland, the best football team only play in the 3rd division. There we go. You were saying that your granddad played... Did he play for... you was from Hanover and a big fan of the club. So that's why you support them. Makes sense. Makes sense. Right, yeah, so if we go through and start thinking about this in terms of like starters, Nürnberger is a rotational piece. He would be a player that I'd want to be a backup across all of these positions. I don't think any of those guys are starters. I don't think Forkel is a starter. Selko's the starter there. So realistically, I want a right back. A right centre back. I want a Segundo Volante. I probably would like maybe just a backup. Maybe Tim Muller is good enough. Yeah, he was his performances were good for a fullback. I think he's solid. So 1, 2, 3 starters. Pardon me. Possibly 4 starters. If we can improve on Sauter, who was just solid at the Zweite Bundesliga level, that would be greatly appreciated. Mbamba, I said I prefer him to be a backup. So maybe 2 defensive midfielders now. We'd want... so if Forkel is the backup on the right, we'd want to start here, we'd want a backup here, we want a backup here. Possibly... So if we consider Mbamba and Garrido to be the backups here, we've got Nürnberger as cover across all these positions. Mbamba could be a backup at centre-back as well. So maybe that's all we need. All we need is 1 goalkeeper, 1 starting right centre-back, 2 starting defensive midfielders, a backup left-back, 2 attacking midfielders, a starter on the right, preferably just someone who's very good and play both positions as a backup to both of them, a 3rd choice striker as well. So we need a whole team for €2.5 million. Should be pretty straightforward, right? We'll have to see what kind of revenue we're going to get. We did ask the board to increase our 10% transfer revenue because Vata, I think we look to sell. Cooper, we look to sell. Gimba, we look to sell. Tubeck, we look to loan out, I'm thinking. Garrido's value, 2 million. He's probably worth sticking around. Yeah, there's not really much sale value in us for Garrido, so I think he kind of sits around as kind of an option to back stuff up. So Kerfeld has seen lots of dumb things, including his Werder tactics. And so if he says that that's the dumbest things he's ever seen on the pitch, that's a bad sign. That is a bad sign. So Max, as a friend of yours was doing his UEFA Pro license in Bremen as an assistant manager with Kerfeld, there were certainly some questionable tactical decisions. Fair enough. Drew is in, by the way. Welcome in, my dude. I have a love-hate relationship with tactics. I love making them and hate how they play out in game. I get one good one every 50 or so. What's your approach to making them? Drew, so, I mean, you can pretty much cover any of the Moneyball Clinic videos. The approach I take is assessing the players and then working around the strengths. Do you have a lot of players who are transitional? Then you might want to be looking at formations that are going to exploit quick progression through the lines, might be counter-attacking, might be lots of passing into space. You're going to be looking at players with pace and trying to get them into areas where they can cause harm, often out wide and then cutting inside. Or is it going to be more of a controlling approach? You've got players who are very good on the ball, who can help break the lines through progressive passes. You've got midfielders who are creative. And then we start looking rather more towards a possession based. And the formation kind of naturally comes from the players that are available. So the very first thing, we're basically looking for everyone. So I might just start and have a look to see who my scouts reckon are good players, regardless of position. Because if we're going to be filling out with players anywhere, we might as well see if that changes actually my thoughts about the 3-4-3 there. Lister is top of the pile, but he's currently playing in non-league. He scored 3 goals and 3 assists in 19 games. Maybe that's not as impressive as it looks. They do reckon that he is a good player, or certainly one for the future. One for the future who's already earning 18 grand a week. Probably not our priority there. Simon Ellisor here, playing in our Power in the National or Ligue 2. Ligue 2, he scored a decent amount in the last 2 years, 50 goals over the last 3 seasons in 99 games. Whether he could then make the step up, I don't necessarily know. Not actually that prolific, but we need more scouting to know where exactly he's played. But that doesn't look like the pizza chart of a winger. So that looks like he's been playing up front. Not necessarily that prolific, not an area of need. Doesn't necessarily improve on what we've got already. Rasool and Dai playing for Southampton. They are in the Championship. He hasn't played this season for Southampton though. In fact, he last played for Southampton last season, 3 substitute appearances. Let's add that condition in, shall we? General minutes. Let's make sure we are looking at people who have actually played. So Adam says, I assume Bendover is a new gen that somebody named. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Aiden Latina, he is also playing non-league, but he is playing quite well. Been playing potentially as an attacking midfielder. Creates, scores. What is he? He's left-footed. Tries tricks, runs with ball option. They're both exciting things. 26,500 euros. Okay, that's probably a no. Let's talk about finances, in fact. So our wage budget here is next season going with 638,000 euros per week. Same as what we've got currently. If we're looking at our youngsters and future prospects here, we've got 28,000, around 30. So we could probably, very loosely, say that the 38,886 is our youth budget. That would give us 600,000 for our senior team. Cross 25 players, that's 24,000 euros each. Obviously, your key players will earn above that. Your fringe players would ideally earn well beneath it. So if I was looking at someone like Lacina, who wouldn't be guaranteed to come in as a starter, the fact that we'd have to pay above 24,000 euros per week probably for him makes him relatively unlikely. Sebastian Villa earns 83 grand. That's already out of the question. Tomo Basic. How's he been doing as far as defence midfielder goes? So let's see. Sorry, I am trying to catch up as much as we possibly can. Right, loans, says Eunice. Loans. I'm never a big fan on loans, I must admit, because you, especially in the more recent FMs, you have to pay monthly fees. If to get players that you want at a good level, you're going to have to pay monthly fees. So you're essentially paying a transfer fee and not getting an asset at the end of the day. So unless you are completely and utterly screwed, I think that free transfers will offer us something that we can both help us improve the squad and give us an asset that can allow us to improve the squad further down the line. So Basic does a little bit of everything. He dribbles, he creates. Where's he been playing? Mainly as a defensive midfielder. Left-footed. What's the suggestion on his wages? Wage is likely to be on the higher side. He looks like a good player. He's not sensational, right? So he's currently playing in Ligue 2, and he's not sensational. So the same rules that I'd apply to Bundesliga, as Zweite Bundesliga to Bundesliga, I'd expect he'd be good at Bundesliga level, but not great. I don't think that he fits in with the wage requirements that I'd be looking at there. Thomas Basia. We're already into the B grade players here, which doesn't bode well. So Knight of Knee says, it seems like the same stuff you're facing need a whole new team too. It's tricky, isn't it? Also, we don't know what it's going to be like when it officially rolls over and we're a Bundesliga club. It might change the profile of players that are willing to join as well. So Basia doesn't win enough of his headers. That's that one ruled out quite easily. Andre Brooks is on 13 grand. Okay, we're coming into the B grades. As we're coming into the B grades, now we're going to be a much more let's focus on actually filtering these out. I wanted to look at the very top ones first, but yeah, none of them necessarily seem to be right for what we're looking for. Right, so Eunice says, you watched Aiden Lacina play for Bayern during a preseason game in real life. He looks really promising. I mean, he looks promising. I think if we were a team like let's say a Werder Bremen or a Wolfsburg, someone mid-table in Bundesliga who are in a position to be able to spend those wages for someone a little bit longer term. They could bring him in, send him out on loan potentially, and then he'd be ready in a couple of seasons. I think that's fine. I mean, depending on how promising he is, probably would actually make sense for Bayern to extend him in this game and loan him out. But, AI isn't necessarily that intelligent. Right, so there's four possible goalkeepers, allegedly. With the let's see what happens if we bring this down a little bit. Let's bring it down to 10 games, which will be 900 minutes, just to see if that opens things up a little bit. Because just 4 options is a little bit scary, a little bit worrying. So Quadmo says that Basic looks a little bit basic. Beautiful stuff. Gives Quadmo the side eye. Yeah, that seems to be fair. Right, now I do apologise. Bam Bam. You redeemed a mystery mini game. Let's go on over. Let's play a little bit of that, and then we can look up a weird redeem look, Mar. I mean, I could look up both of these nuts. Both of these nuts. But there won't be any answers there. These nuts are fine though, so that's all right. Yeah, let's head on over onto a minigame. What are we going to go for? We are going to go for a round of Only Connect. Let's head on in here. So, Let's explain how Only Connect works for those that aren't familiar. You're going to see 4 pictures of football players, one after the other. They all share a common connection. It's your job is to work out what that connection is. The earlier you guess, the more points you get. Those points get you onto that lovely little leaderboard below. We run it all for an all-time leaderboard. We run a weekly one as well. It's the beginning of a new week, so there isn't a weekly one right at the moment. Now, that connection might be something really straightforward. It might be that they've all played for the same team or all played for the same manager. It might be something a little bit more complicated. Generally, during the early parts of the week, we aren't too difficult on them. So shouldn't be really hard, but it might not necessarily be easy, just to be aware. So let's head on in and start with the very first clue. Now, I am going to tell you there are actually 2 connections. One of them, however, is really obvious and doesn't count. That's not what we're going for. So here is the first person. Do we know who the first person is? Oh dear God, how did I not get that joke until Musterman said it out loud? I mean, it was reasonably well hidden. Bofades. Unless you read it as Bofades to begin with, you might not think that Nuits was going to be nuts. So I get it. It's not necessarily that obvious. So let's see. We've got Crudmo's wondering whether it might be Remy Gard. Dan Basis is going for Jack Wilshere. It is neither of those 2 people. Now, that's probably a good thing. The teams they've played for have the same sponsor. That's with very little information. That seems to be perfectly reasonable. So that guy there over on YouTube has plumped in before Adam, saying that it's Nelson Vivas. I can confirm that it is Nelson Vivas. Nelson Vivas, the Arsenal legend. Everyone loves Nelson Vivas, right? H-Tank went for players who scored at 4:37 p.m. CST, Central something time. I don't know what CST even would be. So Sarah Charles suggests that they've all played for Boca Juniors. That would be nice. It's not, unfortunately. Do they all share names with Simpsons characters? That would be quite cool. They all played against England in the 1998 World Cup. Again, some really good guesses. We're not there currently though, so let's move on to the next gentleman. So H-Tank's gone for, are they players with last names that are Spanish verbs? Thomas Lind has gone for colours. Bam Bam, the man who redeemed the game, has gone for played for Boca and River. That's a very nice guess. Clubmo has suggested that this is Claudio Paul Canigia. Oh, what a dreamboat. What a dreamboat indeed. Max has gone for they all won the Primera Division in Argentina. That guy there is suggesting they've all turned into managers. Now, I can tell you that we have a correct answer. And to give you a clue as to what the correct answer is, the next person would have been Roma legend Abel Balbo, followed by the man, my favourite player of all time, Gabriel Batistuta. And that means that Bam Bam C27 was indeed correct, because they have all played for Boca and River. They have crossed the Super Classico divide. Some fabulous work there. Fabulous work from Bam Bam. In straight away. As soon as Canigia appeared. Bosh. Just like that. So this must be the really obvious connection that doesn't count. It's not. The really obvious connection is that they're all Argentinian. Which for a simple reason, obviously that doesn't count. There's almost implied. There are a couple of Paraguayans, to be fair, that have played for both. But when you're looking at that list, it is quite restricted. So Lukmar says, God damn, that Fiorentina kit is sexy. I'd pay a lot of money for that. It's a classic, isn't it? It is a classic. Batigol has 27 goals in 23 games so far this season, the beautiful bastard. The joy of the retro database. That That Arsenal video I did, I'm pretty certain the reason why Man United won the league in that was because they signed Batigol in January. Like, he scored something like 30 goals in the second half of the season. Just absolutely sickening. Right, let's pop back in. So we moved the minutes down to 900. That doesn't change anything for us there. We can look at all 4 goalkeepers without even really filtering it down any further. Christian Rivero prevents goals. That's a good sign. Isn't particularly active as a sweeper. Kind of okay in terms of distribution. Scouting required. Let's watch him a little bit more. So add to shortlist. Benjamin, playing in the Portuguese 3rd Division South, 20 years old. I don't think he's going to be the man to help us in the Bundesliga. Matthias Branderhorst does not prevent goals, so I'm not interested in him. Stefano Minelli, oh, wrong one. Does prevent goals, does sweep. Okay, yeah, let's Serie D. Okay, maybe not. There we go. Cameron doesn't like the game. I'm sorry, my dude. I'm sorry. Right, before we did play that game, there was a couple of questions that I saw. Let me just scroll back. So Geordie asked, what's the best way to determine what statistics are important per position and role? So Geordie, the easiest way is to ask yourself the very, very simple questions for each role in your tactic. What should they be doing in possession? What should they be doing out of possession? What metrics show those things? So here we've got a wing back. On the right, I want a wing back who is going to dribble. I want a wing back who is going to create chances. So that's dribbles, that's expected assists. Out of possession, because we're going to play with generally a little bit more pressing, even though we're in a mid block, and we counter press. So we counter press. He's going to be up in the final third for us. So he needs to be effective at pressing, pressures attempted, and he's going to be isolated one-on-one with wingers. So he needs to be able to tackle win rate. So that's how you determine what the requirements are. You ask yourself, what do you expect them to do? And then you answer the question, what shows that? How do you know what values you want? Well, look at the players doing the job. Here we've got Anton Guy. He dribbles 2.64 times, generates 0.3 expected assists, attempts 12.68 pressures, and he wins 78% of his tackles. Generally speaking, use that as your baseline. If you're trying to improve your own team, take what you've already got, look for better. That will be your starting point, and then you can filter through the players as you go. Maybe you decide that you want to prioritize creativity, expected assists over dribbles. Like, maybe you're thinking, actually, we can get him to run down the wing and we can play through balls to him. He doesn't need to beat players to get those chances. And that would kind of be the approach I'd be going with. So I hope that helps. Right, we want a centre back. For this, we know that Avir was good and Schmidt was just about okay. So Avir, 81% tackles, 81, 70 seems to be fair. Let's do that a little bit beneath that. So tackle completion rate will go at 80. Header win rate, we will go at 70%. And there is one player. That makes it nice and easy, right? Tom Hall, playing for Karlsruhe, who just got relegated. So a relegated centre-back isn't necessarily going to be the most exciting options there. He's not great on the ball. So he's not on the ball that much, 51 times. He's in the 45th percentile for passes completed. But he is also in the 20th percentile for possession loss. So despite not having much of the ball, he does lose it quite a bit. That said, though, he wins 8% of his tackles, 70% of his headers. Could be a pretty solid player in that regard. He is quite active in terms of possession 1. Yeah. Let's get a little bit more information on him. Now, we are looking for a starter. he's not necessarily starter material. I think he'd be fine as a backup. If we suddenly feel confident that Mousehound, for example, could be the answer, maybe there is some plausibility there, but otherwise maybe not. Let's move these metrics the other way round. See, if we swing these around and we want players that are better at headers and tackles, Ennio Bitry comes up. He's playing in the second division of Netherlands, 74-78. His ball safety is kind of proportionate to his passing. Doesn't exactly excite me, I think would be a fair comment to make. So let's look at this. Let's look at players we'd actually have to pay for. There are some of them. So it looks, I imagine that we are going to have to spend money to get a starting centre back, which could be a problem. And talking of spending money, how much would Nicholas Raskin cost us? That's because he doesn't have an H in his name, isn't it? There we go, Nicola Raskin. So DM Bassist has redeemed a look up the player. Because we've gone from the search screen, it's for some reason orange. So let's take this from the Rangers screen. So we get that lovely blue and white. We don't know where he's been playing, but we can guess it's central midfield in some capacity. 43 games this season, 2 goals, 10 assists. Tackle win rates kind of on the low side for a midfielder. Really active in sweeping, really safe on the ball. Really creative, doing a cracking job from the looks of things. His career now stands at 180 appearances for Rangers. Currently valued, we don't know. So that this does look to be his best season. His best season there. So 12 goal contributions. Before that, it would have been 2 years ago. Not too bad. Not too bad. Now 28. What a player. What a player. Adam reckons a move to Darmstadt would be some step up for him. I somehow have a suspicion that our €2.5 million transfer budget isn't going to stretch that far, unfortunately. So Max says Boris Tomiak, who transferred from Lautern to Hanover this winter, has been in a duel with Kaiserslautern captain Marlon Ritter and has said that comment to him. Wait a second, what's this? Boris Tomiak was a player we were looking at as well. So, Jonsa had asked, I've seen a lot of people say, how do you Fries and Marlon was their highlight of the game? Right, okay, so that was a comment made and a bit of a thing. Okay, I see. So Boris Tomiak might fit in. If we've got Fabian Nürnberger, who's been a bit of a dick, maybe getting in Boris Tomiak and revisiting that could be an idea. So there are some players here. Maybe. Was Gardenier a standout in the Kuchen-Campion division? He's on loan from Feyenoord, played a decent amount of games, really, really good. He's playing as a left back. Elias Donkor played mainly as a centre back, 85-71. Gives the ball away far too much, I fear. Til Sissoko on the expensive side, another left footer. Good in that regard, really bad in that regard. Felipe Mane. Could we go back for Felipe Mane? We balked at his 40 grand a week wage demands previously, but he's still playing really, really well. It would be a big jump up. That was our concern in the past. That we want players who are going to be good enough for the Bundesliga. He's currently playing in the 3rd division, so he might have the potential, but I don't know if we could necessarily rely on him. So let's look at Schiffel here, 81, 82, that's good. Passing, that's in the 60th. 60th to 40th, that's about what you'd expect. Raphael Schiffel could be an option. Attila Mochi, currently playing in Spain. 82, 78 is good. That's all very good for the amount of passes that we're looking at. Yeah, we will look at Mochi more as well. That's, again, it's all going to come down to his wages there, which I'm not as confident on. I feel about 40k for a start, but for a player that we expect to be a regular first teamer at Bundesliga level, so it would be a star in our team, would be great. For just like a fringe start, someone who would be a starter that would then potentially not be a star player, 40 grand is a little bit too much. So, sorry, let me try and catch up a little bit there. Right, DM Basis is saying that Raskin would be better than any of the United squad. I think you can't really disagree with that. I mean, Casemiro or Raskin, it's a no-brainer, right? Right, so Geordie over on YouTube, who was asking about attributes, is doing his first Moneyball save and learning SQL and Python in the meantime. Sounds fun. That's a slippery slope. Max says, "Halt de Friese Marlon" means shut the fuck up, Marlon. That's a great phrase to say. That is a great phrase to say. So Kobayashi, let's have a look there. Bolton are in the Championship. 83, 77's good. Possession lost is a little bit concerning. That's 80 to 80th percentile, 10th percentile. 80th percentile and 20th percentile would be reasonable. Plus he's left-footed and we really do need some right-footed centre-backs. Calfrias on loan from Sunderland. That doesn't look good. That looks like it's... we might not have the Turkish Super League in full detail. Bobby Thomas. Yeah, too much possession lost. Gaspar. That's better. 90th percentile here. 20th percentile possession lost. That's okay. Possession 1's not great, but 81, 79 is okay. Playing as a centre-back. 19k wages currently. Also up as not for sale, so maybe it's not going to be plausible, but let's keep an eye on him. So, Zenergy says, has your transfer budget rolled over to the new season yet? Is it not 4.3 million? I will believe it when I see it gets through to 4.3, but still, that's not much. So H-Tank says, Felipe Mane is such a good player for FM, always cheap and a good player to transition to a mid-table team. That's the problem, is he's not cheap. 40 grand a week is not cheap. Maybe if we'd been in Germany nearer the beginning of the save starting, I think possibly could have been an option, but I just can't justify it on a player that hasn't got experience at a high enough level. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. Charlie Fox, left-footed. I need right-footers. Let's add that as a condition. I need right-footed centre-backs. We'll go, instead of saying that they have to be right-foot, we'll just say that they've got to be very strong on it, just in case we get some interesting two-footed players, maybe. Norotsky, League One would be quite a step up. So it'd have to be exceptional here. He's not exceptional. Speakerman, Region Liga Nord would also be a massive step up. So we'll probably ignore that. Romeo Trinco. 81, 79. Not on the ball much. So that kind of makes sense. That's kind of almost proportionate. Not necessarily bad. Not consistent. let's. I don't think he's the answer, Romeo Trinko, but would be worth just keeping an eye on. Right, Ligue 2 needs to be sensational. 85% is, 72 isn't. That's a no. National needs to be sensational. 8475, no. So there are some options there at least. But we've still got Tomiak on our list here. I think Essen we weren't interested in. We weren't interested in Essen. Noel Atom is another left footer, so that can come off that list there. So we might as well get these guys scouted up again until we've got full knowledge on them. Let's get them up to date, which should be something there. So hopefully we can find at least one player that'll be helpful. So Thibault reckons that Schiffel could be a good option. He looked quite promising. His wage seems amenable. Transfer value, we'd obviously be hoping it's closer to the lower end there, but fingers crossed. Muster on the beat. Welcome in, Brazilian Fury. How are you doing, sir? Manu is in as well. Welcome in, my dude. I hope you are both well. Right, so 6'5", he should be considering the NBA. I mean, you don't even need to be 6'5" anymore, Karen. All you need is, I think, how tall is Mac McClung? I think he's 6 foot exactly. It is worth, if you have even the smallest interest in NBA, checking out the dunk contest from the weekend. So it's the All-Star break, and Mac McClung, he won for the third year in a row. One of his dunks involved jumping over a man inside a car, which almost broke his ankle from those things. He almost scuffed the landing. It was quite sensational. It really was quite sensational. Right, so let's have a look at defensive midfielders. We want people who can win tackles. Now, generally speaking, I would say that somewhere around the 78% mark is what you look at in terms of tackle win rate for defensive midfielders. So that's going to be the starting point at least. So we're just going to look at 78%. That gives us 41 players, and then I'm going to look at possession lost. So I want players who are going to be safe on the ball. And Bamba was pretty decent in that respect at 7.84, so we'll do it at 8. It is at most 10, 9, 8. So that gives us some players to take a look at. We're looking here primarily at the player that's just going to kind of hold position. He's going to help tie things together. Someone who is progressive would be an advantage. But yeah, the primary thing is going to be making good decisions. So that's why we're going to focus on possession lost first and foremost. We've looked at Nibombe already. Serie B, Aseko Nkili has been reliable for me in the past. But in terms of how he's doing here, he's not progressing, he's not creating, he is helping by carrying the ball. Reasonably safe. 81% tackle win rate is really, really good. Very active pressuring. Maybe. Actually, wait a second. No, we're going to prioritise players that are expiring because of our transfer budget situation. And there are actually some players this time, potentially. So Kaidi Bear. Described as a Mazzala, so maybe he's not very good at defending things. We'll look at that. Doesn't win possession, doesn't pressure, is safe on the ball. Is very, very dribbly. So yeah, he does look like a Mazzala. What's the extensive knowledge on him there? 17.5 transfer listed. Well, it's anyway, it's going to be available on a free transfer. That might actually be someone who's useful. Right, now we're looking at people in, well, all of these players, in fact, are in lower leagues. So they do need to stand out. Maybe that makes Bear a little bit less appealing. Like Max Mergner isn't sensational. Dennis Burnich. neither. Tim Pfeffer. Nothing really standing out there. Amir Farhadi. Okay, that's a little bit better. Like 99th percentile for possession lost and possession won. 83% tackle win rate. Maybe there's something in him there. Just looking at his stat, covers a decent amount of distance. 57% header win rate. Form wise, like it seems pretty consistent. Pretty consistent, there we go. Enjoys big matches. Fairly determined. Lacks aggression. Otherwise, not got the greatest technique. Otherwise, solid. Let's get our scout to do the honours. So that looks like someone who might be worth the risk. Maybe. So Reggae Boy, welcome in, my dude. What leagues do we have loaded up? Leagues. We have the following leagues, sir. Austria, Czechia, Denmark, Finland, France, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. So these are the one. In terms of detail level, we have I think it's just the Nordic, like Finland, I've taken the detail level down. But all of these we added in for this season, so that we can have a nice broad pool to look at. Or for our scouts to look at. Arbanjania looks like more of a creative player based on the traits. Yeah, nothing really special there. Serie C, he would definitely need to be amazing, and that doesn't really fit the brief there. So Michael says, when it comes to different leagues or lower down in your own league, how do you know that you're not going to pick up a complete shitter? Generally speaking, the focus is if your player's going to be jumping up a league or up a significant standard, you'd expect them to really, really excel in certain metrics for them to then be able to make that step up. So that's all you're doing, is you're looking for outliers. So Eunice says, if Barcelona win their game today, they will be top on the Liga table. The league is on fire. That would be good. It's been a weird season in La Liga. I mean, at the beginning of the season, Barcelona looked like they're going to run away with it. Then they faltered. It looked like Real Madrid were going to run away with it. Then they faltered. Atletico at one point looked like they might run away with it. And it's all very, very tight now. So it's pretty good. Right, so that's players that are expiring. Do we see... Let's try players that are transfer listed as well. Because again, we've got to be really mindful of our transfer budget. Luke Brewers, transfer listed for 4.9 million is far beyond our reach. Loan status there, players that we've seen already. So that's a little bit concerning in terms of options in a more defensive capacity. In a more attacking capacity, let's go back to our squad. So Mbamba was playing as a box-to-box midfielder at times, but only had 0.47. But also as a Carolero at times, so that's something to be mindful of. Who did we have regularly playing in that more attacking capacity? It probably would have been Bernch. So none of our guys were dribbling much from the looks of things from a central position. Alex Garrido, 0.46. Lucas Ferder, definitely not. Oliver Cooper was, but Oliver Cooper also played out on the wings at times, and as a Mazzala, so you're going to expect that to be higher. 3.8 there. Roman Esse, 2.34. Can't really use them as a proper guide. So I'm going to be looking at, we're just going to run with it and then just adjust as we go. A reasonable amount I expect will be about one dribble. And I want to look at somebody who closes down. We start that at about 10. We've got absolutely no one. So what is our pressures attempted from these guys? Bonch was at 10.4. Burrito was at 10.4. At 9.53. So yeah, around 10 pressures is reasonable, I feel. We'll say accomplished as a defensive midfielder. We're going to bring dribbles down a little bit lower, as that doesn't seem to be many of them. So these are some options of players who are expiring. Andre Brooks, left-footed, quite flexible, was playing as a midfielder. Nothing that special there. But he was doing it at the Premier League. Anyone else at a good level? Ivanildo Mascarenhas. The B team, so it wasn't for the senior team, even though he's in the senior squad there. League 1, League 2, League 2, Serie B. We've looked at Arbanjania before. I don't think we've looked at Magnino. Yeah, we're a little bit slim pickings at the moment. Right, so Night of Knee says Spud Webb also won the dunk contest in the 80s, but at 5'7", which is amazing. It's ridiculous, isn't it? John says Aseko, another player currently at Hanover. Aseko, Noah Aseko and Keeley was sensational for me in FM23. I really like him. Shame that it doesn't quite look right for us at the moment. Lukmar, Crudmo's playing the old man card, but Lukmar's back feels like it's 30. It only gets worse from there as well. Don't get him started on the knees. Let's not any of us start talking about knees. I expect that's going to be pretty grim reading for all of us. Right, Lukmar's going to be lurking. Want to continue your book on the 100 Years' War? Marvellous. Okay, yeah, that definitely sounds fun. Billy Mitchell. Yeah, not really anything I'm particularly interested in there. Third division needs to be sensational, isn't? Pele Clement. Okay. Dwells on ball isn't great, but I said that I want someone who can dribble and someone who can pressure. He's doing that because he's been playing as a winger. That's why. And as a winger, that's not that impressive. League 1. Yeah, nothing great happening there. George Byers, that was. Players who are transfer listed. So Andre Brooks, after all that, Andre Brooks probably looks like the best. He dribbles, he pressures, he does create. Wage at 13.7, 25 years old. Maybe he's not as bad as I thought. The pickings seem to be quite slim. So let's keep an eye on him. Might actually be the answer. Right, so why are we talking about the French? I shouldn't ask that question, should I? That's probably a dodgy question to ask. Space Puffin, welcome in, my dude. How are you? Lovely to see you. Commands. So the commands are those ones that appear on the screen at the bottom there. So you can use Arsenal or Discord or Games or Patreon or Save or Skin or Socials or Strike. I don't have a command for commands, I'm afraid, though. Do we have anyone? So players that can play further forwards but can't play in that defensive midfield role might be a possibility. Let's see what that does to us for this here. So could we consider Lists as a defensive midfielder? He was playing, I think, as a winger. Doesn't necessarily fill me with much confidence. We've looked at that. Nathan Skitter. Nathan Skitter has been playing. We don't know where he's been playing. He's definitely been playing in a more attacking capacity, where he's been creative. Doesn't pressure that much. Yeah, that doesn't doesn't fill me with much hope. 2 lower division there, I think. Same with Max Myers down in the 3rd division. Oh dear. Okay, Mascarenhas. He's 19 years old and he's at Porto. That kind of makes me think he might be okay. He can't tackle, he can't pass, and we don't have full scouting knowledge on him, so that's already killed that one off. Yeah, so none of those. Then transfer listed though. Carlos Elena, far too expensive. Jan Zambarek, 3 million euros, seems a bit too much on the expensive side as well. They're saying creativity midfielders rather than. You feel like he's probably been playing as a central midfielder. Even as an attacking midfielder, he'd be considered as quite good in terms of pressures. Let's have a look at him. What harm can there be there? Like the French are the Everton of Europe. Are you saying that you are strongly in favour? I guess that could be. I didn't expect that from you, Quadman. I must admit. I mean, I don't have any problems with them, but definitely not what I expected from you. Coritiba's back. Welcome in, my dude. How are we doing on the market? Not good. Not good at the moment. Our options seem to be quite slim. Right, Deaconu has been playing as an attacking midfielder. It's not what we're looking for at the moment, but he does seem to be quite decent in the attacking output. We'll see how he shapes up as an attacking midfielder when we look at that position. Otherwise, where's Morris Schroeter being played? It's calling a ball-winning midfielder, so he might have been playing centrally. I'm guessing, though, he's actually been playing as... Doesn't look like a right-back's profile. Could he be playing as a winger? Maybe he's just been playing a lot of things. Not necessarily at a high enough level to make that step up. Jan Dander. Probably playing as an attacking midfielder. Looks a bit underwhelming. Let's move to wing backs on the left now. We want to use Tim Muller as our basis. Not as fussed about dribbles. 0.2 expected assists, 78% tackle win rate, and a decent amount of pressures. Tackle completion rate, 78%. So we'll say a little bit lower, 75%. We will say expected assists at 0.2. Pressures at least 10 isn't that high. That's quite a long way beneath where he was. And we've got one option. Giuseppe Aguiman, currently playing in Serie C. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. It is going to be loans. I think we're going to be relying quite heavily on loans. Right, attacking midfielders. Roman Essa as the basis. 0.2 expected assist, 0.2 goals, 2 dribbles. I think we can use that for both sides as well. So expected assist 0.2. Goals per 90. 0.2. And dribbles was around 2 as well. Tackle win rate isn't that much, so well, Lacina was doing that. I don't like his €26,500 wage, but our options seem to be very, very slim at the moment. So suddenly we're looking at a lot of positions and we've been very, very underwhelmed by what's been coming up. Nathan Skitter at Brest. Left-footed. They're all left-footers as well. So what's the deal here? Nowhere near enough information. Let's have a look. Let's get him scouted. Add shortlist. What about players who are transfer listed? None of them. We've shortlisted. So we already had Felipe Mane and Boris Tomiak on our shortlist. We've shortlisted only 13 players, which is a little worrying. A little worrying indeed. I'm very, very worried. So Knight of Knee says, you should consider creating a command to display the commands called Jon Snow, so that you'd call upon the Lord Commander to know your commands. I see where you're going with that. I see where you're going with that. Nickname, what profile midfielder are you looking for? So as mentioned, we're looking for someone who's going to hold as a defensive midfielder and tie things over, and someone who's going to break from midfield and pressure. So we're looking for two different profiles of central midfielder. And then the attacking midfielder we're looking at is someone who's kind of like a shadow striker, kind of Mazzala-y type. Looking for the same kind of skill set either side, even if they'll actually end up doing slightly different things tactically. Al Osman asks, what colour theme is it? It's a Darmstadt colour scheme. So I just took the colours out of the kits and used them to adjust myself. It's not great. As you can see, we've got lots of issues with lots of areas where you've got white on orange that doesn't show up particularly cleanly. So it wouldn't necessarily be something I'd consider to be good enough. But generally speaking, I hide enough in these screens that it's not too much of an issue. Right, okay. So we've got an ad break coming up. When we come out of that ad break, we're going to play a little mystery mini game as redeemed by Adam. Thank you very much for redeeming that, by the way. So yeah, I'm going to grab myself a drink. I'm going to go to the toilet, and I will see you in about 3 minutes. Oh, okay, that's the wrong one. Phew, there's the relief. I came back early anyway, so there's still like 30 seconds before everyone's going to be back from the break. But Zenergy, if you are by any chance still in here, good luck with the draft challenge tonight. I hope it goes well. I hope it goes well. Now, whilst we're away, Night of Knee and Nickname have all both are very favourable about the idea of going for Brest. I assume by that they mean Nathan Sitter, who was at Brest. A fine choice. Mondays are for MILFs, so it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. Age Tank is managing in Tunisia. You've got an amateur team from the second league to the top league and the League Cup in 2 years, and the board refuses to give you everything. An approval percentage for 17.6%. That is rough. That is rough. And they won't go above 0% transfer revenue. That is bullshit. That is literally bullshit. Right. We've got a game of Missing 11. Now, I would recommend not guessing players until I've revealed it, because if you do get a correct player by any chance, I'm going to just undo it anyway. So it won't help you there. Let's explain how this game works. It's a case of fastest finger first. In a short while, I'm going to reveal the team that we're looking for. This is a team from somewhere in history. You've got to guess which players made up the starting 11. You need to just pop your guesses into chat. You have to spell the name correctly. If a player has potentially multiple spellings, all variants of those spellings will be accepted. If they have an accent in their name, you can include the accent. You don't need to, though. So if they have like a grave accent over the E, it will pick it up. If you add the grave accent, it will pick it up if you don't. Case doesn't matter. You can do all uppercase or lowercase, a mixture, absolutely fine. So let's reveal the team. You get 1 point for each correct guess. You also get a point if you work out what the significance of the game is. So we are looking for the Shakhtar Donetsk side in the UEFA Cup final on the 20th of May 2009. And Adam is in there straight away. He's gone for Fernandinho and Cerner. Beats out Crodmo on Cerner, who picks up on Rat. Adam has picked up on Willian. Crodmo beat Adam to Rat as well. DM Basis has picked up on Luis Adriano. Crodmo's got Jadson. Crodmo, has he spelt Chagrinsky right? He hasn't spelt Chagrinsky right. Just to be clear, by the way, if you know how to spell their names in Cyrillic for the Ukrainian players, it will pick that up. Was Timoshuk in the starting lineup? He wasn't, I'm afraid. Neither was Alexei Gladky. What other guesses have we got coming in? Zerachul's picked up on Kusha, which is fabulous. It is Zerachul who's got Chagrinsky right as well. Well, got one of the spellings of Chagrinsky right. Neutral Normie has picked up on Piatov. Koratiba's got the bonus point for Ukraine's first European trophy. Fabulous stuff. Who was it who got Ilsinho? Ilsinho and Lewandowski picked up by Zerachul at the end there. Brilliant work, guys. That's a tricky one because Chagrinsky is an exceptionally hard name to get. There were a lot of players in the squad at that time, so knowing who was going to be in the starting lineup was always going to be a tricky proposition. But that's a big round from Adam, a big round from Zerachul. Once upon a time, that was an FM's goldmine. That was, let's face it, the reason why I went for it is because I love that Shakhtar team because of FM. Now, interestingly, so I put in the spelling of Chagrinsky with a G, but according to everything else that I've looked at, there isn't actually a G in his name. It's a second H, which I didn't know, but it would pick up on the spelling with the G, with the Y and the I the other way round, as well as in Cyrillic too. We go that extra length here. Marvelous work, guys. Absolutely incredible. Nailed that one. Right. So we've looked through I'll start that sentence again. I've looked through players that our scouts have already looked at and they've added to scout players list. I am now going to have a look through to see if we can find any possible targets based on stats in our league. I'm not going to go through every single league because that will be very, very tedious. Let's be honest. Nickname says that era of Brazilians in Ukraine was crazy to witness. It was incredible, wasn't it? DM Basis says, I don't think there's a G in the Cyrillic alphabet. That would explain it. So the G and H are interchangeable usually in Ukrainian names, says Neutral Normie. Indeed. So, as you can see, the official anglicized spelling has double H. The we added in the G's because that's how I certainly remember it from various FMs over the year. So I want to look at header win rate. In fact, actually, I'm going to find this easier to start here, I think. This is much easier list for me to go through, I tend to find. So have we got headers 1 percentage, headers 1 ratio? We do that and then we go through it this way. So let's have a look at see who the defenders are there. Let's take off players that are fullbacks as well. See if any of these guys might be worthwhile. We've already discounted Sil Sissoko. Frederick Yakel here, 77% headers, 81% thing. So he looks okay. My word, he's on the ball a lot. 97.85 passes completed per game is ridiculous. But at 6 million euros, he's going to be well beyond our means. Christoph Kobold here. Could be more affordable. 80% tackle win rate, 77% header win rate. Passes completed. He is currently in the 35th percentile, so I'd expect him to be around the 65th percentile for possession lost. He's under that, so I'm not interested. Jamal Siebert, a little bit like Mane, a player that is normally turns out to be quite good. However, is going to be far too expensive for us to consider. Boris Tomiak we're looking at. Schlotterbeck is left-footed. Geschwil is also left-footed. We really need right-footed centre-backs. Here is Marken Daly at Kaiserslautern. They struggled, so his value might stay low. 81% tackle win rate, 75% header win rate's good. Loses the ball far too much for me. Hendry Blank, another Dortmund youngster who's quite good. Yeah, possession lost though is far too much of a concern there. Philip Schultz, possession lost is still a concern. With coming down towards the lower end of what I'd be willing to look at in terms of header win rate as well. 78, 74 is okay. He's in the 70th percentile for passes completed, which means anyone that is above the 30th percentile for possession lost is okay. He's at the 35th. That is conceivably okay. 14 million euros, not okay though. Definitely 14 million euros for him. Bugger off. Atom's left-footed. Carsten's here. Let's have a look there. His possession loss looks high. It certainly is. So I'm Ukrainian and there is a G. Well, there we go. We stand corrected. I have a really nice Shakhtar shirt. My wife's family are from Ukraine, so I probably should have asked her. That would probably give you the answer, that's for sure. But Ambrosius, tackle win rate perhaps a little concerningly low. 75th percentile at the 25th, so passes to possession lost is reasonable. Affordability might be okay. Playing as a centre-back from the looks of things, let's add him to our shortlist. So from what part of Ukraine are they? So Ivano-Frankivsk. I'll be honest, that looks like a name to me rather than a place. So Tarek Buchman hasn't played. Oh no, he has 19 appearances. 19 appearances for us. He hasn't played at all for Stuttgart since moving there. I'm going to add Buchman to our shortlist and see if we could possibly get him on loan next season. Right, Kofi Barmer, 72% header win rate. Possession lost is fine given the amount he's on the ball. He's largely been playing anywhere but centre-back, which is a concern. His contract is expiring though. Let's get more of a report on him. Could be an option. Not necessarily for his output because it's difficult to judge based on those splitting his time between different positions. But if his attribute spread is decent, maybe we'd be willing to take a risk. Vuskovic, 16 million euros, far too dear. Glindvat, on loan from Augsburg. 67% tackle win rate is a no. Jordi Device, 80 and 71, but he's left-footed. Martin Ends, right-footed, playing as a centre-back primarily. 74. Header win rate's actually below the 70% there. Tom Hull, we're looking at. Kelvin Fries to be the last look. 70, 74. Gives away the ball far too much for the amount he's on it. That hasn't given us many responses there. Let's have a look now at I want dribbles per 90, but if I look to filter dribbles per 90 down with defensive midfielders, we're not going to get many of them. So for our more attacking member of the double pivot, could it be Carlos Baleba? 8.4 million suggests it's not, but he does look like a good player. Actually, some mines didn't get promoted. Maybe he ends up with a clause for teams in higher divisions. So why don't we see if maybe there's a chance that we can pick him up on a bargain. Calvin Twite had a really good game against us. 5.6 million is exceptionally dear, but he is quite dribbly, doing okay in terms of pressures, affecting the other side of the box. 5.6 million is also quite high. You can tell I'm getting desperate that I'm now looking at players that clearly look to be beyond our means. Right, let's see. Superb left back he was. You've made the same comment about Ivano Frankovic, if I see. Okay. I think that's a great joke, and the fact no one's going for it makes me sad. Well, I picked up on the same thing. There we go. There we go. I didn't even read your comment. And Max has indulged you. Bless him. So Dean Basis, her and her dad were both born in Scotland, but her late grandparents came over via Germany, but with little contact with the old family now, unfortunately. Well, that's a shame. That's a shame. He assisted the Dortmund striker Cluj-Napoca 8 times. Cluj-Napoca is would be an amazing name. Right, Johnson is dangerously close to being able to recreate the Mick McCarthy interview in your save. Currently 1 win and 16. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Sulemana doesn't really impact the final third, so I'm not too fussed there. And if I'm going to look for other defensive midfielders that are more going to help sweep up, I want to see possession 1. Where's possession 1 metrics? Possession 1 per 90. Is that already filtered by defensive midfielders? It is indeed. Sulemana is already up there in that list. Philip Feistel, described as an anchor. Possession 1, pressures is good, headers is good. Tackle win rate is a bit too low for me. And possession loss is a bit on the low side as well. Rowan Wilson, very expensive there. Sweeps rather than pressures, but 80% tackle win rate is good. Ockham, let's do the honours. I think we're going to end up with, I mean, I know I've just said this, but we're going to end up with a lot of players on these lists that we're not able to actually consider. Kai Klefish. Possession 1, okay. Safe on the ball. Tackle win rate, 77%. Good. Could be on the cheaper side. Not feeling him. I'm not feeling him. Mensa, 73%. Not feeling Mensa either. Bite Stanger. Bite Stanger's a very fun name. Looks like you, Twit. No comment. No comment. Bite Stanger there, sorry. Yeah, not feeling him either. Nicholas Tower. He helps with progression. Really good all round. Far too expensive. Far too expensive, but that doesn't matter. We're hoping. We're just desperately hoping for some some crazy favourable minimum release clauses. Simasuso, good all round. Left one-footed, really flexible. Minimum fee release clause is at 6 million euros. That's going to be a no. We know straight off that's a no, so that's fine. Carlos Sickinger, probably the lowest on the possession one numbers that I'd be willing to look at. And generally doesn't seem to impress me that much. Right, DM bassist, cannot relate. Hernan Crespo's just scored yet another goal. You should try signing him. What is your lineup? This squad seems incredible, incredibly stacked. Crodmo's just picked up some Bosmans, so Vieri, Luigi Di Biagio, and Jaap Stam. Fine choices. Right, Clannert, he plays in every position. He does. We've got it's a feature of our squad as well. Like Yannick Mousehand doesn't play in every position, but he can play in goal, which I quite like. Nürnberger plays pretty much every position. I'm sure we had someone else who can play in goal as well. Or maybe I'm making that up. There's Mousehound. Well, we've got goalkeepers. Maybe someone we sold was able to also play in goal. Right. So defensive midfielders, none of them really filled me with great promise there, but we have got some that we've added. Now I want to look at dribbles per 90. Specifically looking at central attacking midfielders. Hopefully there will then be some that have come out and got decent goal contributions as well. Valentin Carboni obviously immediately jumps out here, 7 and 10. Whereas Yao Marquez probably not. But we're using dribbles as our filter essentially, and then we're going to be looking at attacking output accordingly. Valentin Carboni, left-footed, could be all right. Let's do the honours there. Svante Ingelsson, I'm sure he's already come up before. Why are they all left-footed? We've got a left-footer to start. Maybe he's all right. Svante Ingelsson. Show me some right-footers. Iman Barkok. He's right-footed. Doing good as a scory boy, not necessarily as a creative boy. What do we know about him so far? Got extensive knowledge. He's offside a lot. I'm not feeling Barkok. I'm not feeling Cock. That's exactly what I said. There we go. Sarpreet Singh. Looks like he's transfer listed. Good from a creative perspective. Left-footed. They're all left-footed. All left-footed. Engelns is right-footed. Looks like he's 12 years old. Doesn't do anything in terms of attacking output. Joe Gomez is contracted to New York Red Bulls. So has he just transferred there? He has indeed. So that's pointless to look at. Eric Alstrand at St. Pauli. Left-footed, because of course he is. Not so great in terms of output. Max Herman. 3 and 3 from 2,500 minutes. That's not good. And we're looking like we're under 1.5 dribbles per 90. So I think we're pretty much done there. Right, let's actually click continue. Let's see what's going to happen. I'm going to wait until we hear back from the board. If we get to increase our percentage of transfer revenue, I'm probably then going to transfer list those players we mentioned a little bit earlier. We've been through that side of things, and hopefully we can get someone. So DM basis starting 11. Buffon, Thuram, Pablo Paz, Cannavaro, Orazabal, Bagassian, Veron, Stanic, Ronaldinho, Crespo, and Chiesa. The bench is Roa Sensini, Dino Baggio, Juanildo, Lassisi, Diego Fuser, and JJ Okocha. That is obscene. That is obscene. Ronaldinho, Crespo, and Chiesa is literally pornographic. It is. It really is. Right, we don't need to do that. What's we got here? Let's see. No, they want us to play defensively solid football because... Oh, that's... that's insightful. They've added play defensively solid football because they want the club to play defensively sound football. Thank you. Thank you, Edward Depatka. So insightful. Right, continue to avoid relegation. They're expecting us to be fighting relegation for the next 4 seasons, which bodes well. I'm sure they won't accept that. I'll keep on doing this until they get pissed off. I'm not gonna get in an argument over them. We're just gonna say hello and goodbye. I don't think there's anything positive to be gained by saying something along the lines of, "Hey, we can fight against relegation next season." Just say nothing. Nothing is better than being depressing, I think. Where do we want to go for our training camp? We went to Austria last year, so we can go to Austria again. I think we went up Austria. Let's go to Lower Austria. We're gonna mix it up. Aren't we so exciting? Right, Tubeck perhaps on the move. Was his just a general minimum fee release clause? It was. Oh, let's do that. So he wants to stay. Wants to be one of the most noteworthy players. His performance suggests that he should be. That's fine. Relegation release clause of 5.5 million. That's reasonable. Minimum fee release clause of 9 million euros. I mean, that does more than double what it is currently. 40k per week minimum is not good. Oh, wow. He's come down a lot. Okay. I was expecting this to be a lot more frustrating. Right, you don't get to choose the role. Yes, you are currently on that role, but that's kind of okay. Right, so let's have, by the way, Lewis Engels is the son of Daniel Farke, by the way. Is that like son, or is it like son-in-law or something then? Why doesn't he have Farke as his surname? But that is quite cool. That is quite cool. Sega is in, by the way. Lovely to see you, my dude. I hope you had a good weekend. Yonsa said that you might have to go back to your trusty old 5-4-1 with 4 defensive midfielders and a pressing forward on support. Got a 0-0 draw versus RB with 0 XG and 1 shot which was from the halfway line. That sounds incredible. That's quite good. Let's see if we can get him down to 32. And that up to 10.5. In exchange, we got him on a free transfer, right? In exchange, a 3 million relegation release clause. He's not walked away. Appearance fee has gone up by about 1,500. Some of these have come in. That's okay. If he scores and he gets assists, I can live with that. Yearly wage rise though comes out. International caps, fine. Team of the year, that's fine. Bring that down to 1.1. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. That is a 12.5 grand pay rise. But for arguably our best centre back, I'm really, really happy. Yeah, that's good. That is good. feel free to come in with bids for players. That's absolutely fine. So Max is saying try out his philosophy, which is attack as the best defense. The 3-4-3 is working excellent. Clanart is suggesting high tempo, pressing possession, defensively sound football. I too want my team to play like this. Isn't that what they always ask for? I swear that's what they always ask for. Hooray! Okay, cool. Right, we get 30%. Ingolson has been transfer listed. His value is still very high. Youth candidates, none of them look particularly like they're going to be part of the long term there. So we can get 30%. We've got interest in Rocco Vata, and some of that interest is from Saudi Arabia, which is great. So after one season that I think has been disappointing, let's get that asking price up at the top part of it. Happy with that asking price. How far would he be willing for me to go? Up at about 19. Okay, so let's do 16.5. They're not going to make offers whilst the transfer window's closed. That's absolutely fine. But if we can have them ready to pounce as soon as they're ready to bid. Oliver Cooper, we signed for no, don't confirm that. 2.4 million. So if we can get him at around the 3.5, see if there's any interest at that level. Borkel's fine, Essa's fine, we said. Garrido might go. William Rashidi. I think we try and keep Rashidi around. Gimba, though, he can go. Do we reckon we can get 4? Yeah, that's in the middle of those two. Let's see if we get any interest as a result of those things. Gimba asked to discuss future. No, I'm on holiday. Leave you alone. Right, Johnson says you might have to give it a go. However, for now you're going to stick with the 4-2-3-1. You've drawn the last 3 games, which you should have won at least 2 of. I mean, it's sounding like you should be all right. So Engels is his real son, not a son-in-law. Is there a reason why he doesn't go by Farker? Is it like a case of not wanting to be associated, like doesn't want preferable treatment or something? I don't know. Interesting. Right, our scholars are announced. 4 players that isn't particularly encouraging. The rest are gone. Sims wants a new contract. He's been here now 18 months. What's he saying here? Want 28k a week. That's a no. Absolutely not. You have plenty of time remaining. I'm not going to change my mind. He'll be upset, that's fine, but he is currently the backup to Davy Selke, who's on 18 grand a week. He's got 2 years left. I want to have to sign I don't want to be chasing more players. Actually, okay. With the 4-2-3-1, the 3-4-3, like we're going with this, might be a target forward instead, but I could have an advanced forward up front potentially. So let's just pop back and see what the deal was here with contracts expiring. Just how many good players. We looked at Simon Ellisor and we said we didn't need him. Kundo Farias. Playing as an attacking midfielder, I'm guessing. Scores under his XG. Does dribble. And they say he's... Right, let's... I'd like to scout for Kundo Farias. So he looks like someone who could actually be an option for the attacking midfield spot. Santiago Castro played 13 minutes. That's why he wasn't on the list. And he scored 17 goals in 134 games. Let's ignore him for the time being. Paxton Aronson hasn't played. barely played at all, in fact, throughout his career. So we can ignore him. Artem Stefanov hasn't played 2 games in his career. He's now 21 years old. That doesn't bode particularly well. But okay, so he's more of a target forward type player at 6'4". Bad decision making, bad anticipation. Maybe. Elisor here is 6'1". He would expect a decent wage. Right, my thinking here is if we're looking at a third choice striker, can take risks. If we're looking for a third choice striker. Whereas some of these guys we could be looking at starters for that attacking midfield spot. Not Fode Fofana. Dorgeles Nene only played 300 minutes. Right, all right, I'll go now. Quadmo's off. Have good fun at the football, my dude. It's because he thinks the surname is a real fucker. See what you did there? I see what you did there. It's so bad indeed. I forget he's the senior to the seniors. That is about right. Right, if you turn into an icicle, blame Lukmar. See you all on Wednesday. Have great fun, my dude. Catch you then. Right. Dirk or Drown. Can we get access to the save files? So Dirk or Drown, the save files for this save are available to Patreons. Or basically every file that I use is available to patrons. That's all my spreadsheets, that's all my save game files, that's all the tactics, all the skins and everything like that. I don't really host them publicly though, because like I think my save game folder currently is something like 70 gig, and there are 312 save games that I've got in my Football Manager 24 folder alone. So I don't tend to then look to host that because that would be crazy. Right, Tales of the Tapes, Mr. Grizzly P is over on YouTube. Hello again and good night. Hope you all enjoy the rest of the stream. Thank you very much for dropping by, my dude. Have a lovely evening. Max says that Michael Wimmer has taken over at Motherwell. He has indeed. It's a bit of a that was literally just announced maybe a couple of hours before the stream. I think that was like this afternoon, wasn't it? His number 2 looks like a real nutter. I've not seen who his number 2 looks like. Right, Dorgeles Nene hasn't played enough minutes for us to judge there. What has his career been like? Kind of petered off. The seasons before, though, he was playing in fits and spurts and being okay. We don't have much knowledge on him at the moment. Doesn't win possession much. That's the only thing we know. He is offside a lot. Let's take a look at Net Dorgeles now. This is potentially a reputation only signing. Right, we should probably look at Fredrik Jensen as well. He's not been playing. Oh no, he'd be our Shamboss, wouldn't he? We couldn't have Fredrik Jensen because we had him in the very same save we had Shamboss. Now also, just a really good example, Augsburg are the reason that I rarely do skins that have the colours of the clubs, because oh my god, how horrible is that? How truly and utterly unreadable is red and green? Who thought red and green is a colour combination that should be allowed to go together? All right, Lungoi. Not played much. That wouldn't be a reputation-based look, to be fair. I was actually here looking for target strikers, wasn't I? I was looking for young, possible third choice target men. So if we look at 21 years old, Jaco Hobble, 6 foot tall, plays with back to goal. Maybe that could be the option. We already know he's really slow. He can't jump and he can't head. So we're not interested in him. Nilton Oliveira, 6'4", likes to lob keeper. That's fun. Might be able to head. Already very slow. Fickle, can't finish, can't move. Chiamento. Quick enough, no strength. Henry Ribal. Can't jump, no strength. Robin van der Linden. We don't have enough information on him, but can't head. So Stefanov might be, like, he's not great all round, but as a third choice, I think he could be maybe something worth keeping an eye on. Let's have a look at these results coming through. So Farhadi as a midfielder, potentially. They are saying very consistent. That's what we saw from his form. Determined, big matches. No concern about injuries. Not played many games. That's a reasonable concern. Attribute-wise, he can pass, he can tackle, not aggressive. I don't mind the look of him. Let's put him into the default one. Add in Lachina. Would be excellent. Big matches are a concern. Played a lot of games, albeit for the B team. Right, so Cameron has sent a link for Ahmed Koch. Ahmed Koch does look... Ahmed Koch looks a little bit to me like a discount Fred Durst. I mean, I wouldn't say that to his face. I think he would really beat the shit out of me. But yeah. Koratiba describes green and red as watermelon colour palette. Exactly. Hideous. Like, watermelons, lovely. As a colour palette, not so much. Let's see if Koch will get the sack. Koch is famous for the sack, let's be fair. So, Kettlewell resigned before he got the incoming sack. Actually, he resigned because him and his family were getting loads of abuse from fans. I completely get it, but he's also a bit of a prick. Doesn't make the abuse deserved. Stefanov does look about 12. But then if we think, when the game started, that's 6 years ago, he's 21, like, that picture was taken when he was 15? I'm guessing? Yeah, it must be. Like, Joachim Low is the current Freiburg manager in Johnson's save. That's quite cool. That's quite cool. Lachina. Maybe. Nicholas Tower. We were looking at him as a midfielder. 8.2 million. So the deal is down to... Right, that's his release fee is 8.2 million. That is too much. He's a goner. Right. So Max says best of luck to Wimmer, and hopefully he gets Miller back in time for the next game. Well, there's like, maybe not the next game, but should be back soon enough, right? I don't know what Cameron was laughing at. I'm so far behind. I do apologize. Stefanov does look pretty old at the moment. Ukrainian Haaland. We could do what we could do with the Ukrainian Haaland. Let's be honest. Bayern Munich beat Freiburg in the DFB Pokal. We're not going to follow up there. Raphael Schifel. This was a player that I quite liked the look of. 6'5", wins his tackles, wins his headers, decent in that regard. Report. Injury prone. 5 yellow cards isn't much. Wins his headers, wins his tackles, consistent, adaptable. Lots of good things performance-wise. No major issue attribute-wise. Low determination, low first touch. They're not absolutely vital. No release clause, but might be affordable. Might be affordable. Wages are reasonable. Is that no agent? No agent, so we can't get any more information about his value. So let's just start at the bottom. They go all the way up to 3.8 million. So you're probably guessing that it's going to actually be, if we try and get that down, it'll probably be somewhere between 2 and 1.7. So you're probably looking at about 3 million. So we're going to say 1.1 million and hope that they reject it and he gets pissed off and we've got maybe a small chance, just a little chance of unsettling him. Right, so Schifel looks good. What's the injury record looking like? So I deliberately don't allow that. I suppose I can look through history, but the skin deliberately blocks being able to see a player's injury history from the main page for players you don't own. Because I like to make things, well, this very specific version of it, I like to make things unnecessarily harder. So what's the feedback? Star signing was Nicholas Sauter on a free. He's been rated as a B+. Davy Selke is a C+. Mousehound is a B+. Anton Gay, not signing of the season, is an A+. As is Avia. As is Essa. Muller at B+. It's all because they're just free on decent wages. Rocco Vatta's an A+. B+ for the loan. C+ for Mbamba. A- for Tubek. B for Schmidt. That's a surprise. Because we did spend a lot of money to bring in Kenneth Schmidt. Guido at B+. Bendover at A-. How do they feel about the players we let go, though? For Elias Sard. Scored 10 goals, got 2 assists. Not bad over at Levante. Ito was allowed to leave on a free. 10 goal contributions in 18 games is really good. I'm still sad that we lost Oscar Wilhelmsen. He's done really well for Augsburg. 15 goals in his first season up there. Got to be happy with that. Youngster left on a free. Youngster left for 500k, hasn't played much. Simon Astor's played quite a lot for Hull City. 7 assists. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So, Eunice says, you might check on Youssef Nasrour, a Bayern under-19 midfielder, quite promising in real life. I don't know if he's good on FM. I'll certainly take a look. If he's not been playing that for senior, we might not be able to take it any further, but definitely we'll have a look in a second. Tom says, feel like injury prone is less of an issue in the German league where there is less games. I think, yeah, that seems like a fair point. As I say, I won't exclude a player if they're orange on injury prone. But probably if we were to sign him, we'd then want to sign someone else. Have a little bit more depth in that position. Right, Andres Muller scored a great goal against us. That was one of only 2 goals he scored that season. Chobani, 5 goals at Elversberg. Roberto Massimo, nothing particularly great there. Antonio Kacic for Ruders, nothing much there. Torciello didn't play for Hanover. Bookman didn't play for Stuttgart. Crossthwaite hasn't played for anyone. Yeah, he's still available on a free transfer. And Brunst hasn't played for Bochum. That's fine. Delighted with that. Second, Selke, top goal scorer. DFB Pokal, we got knocked out by Dortmund. Nothing crazy there. Our biggest win was just 3-0 this season. Didn't realise that. Apparently that was a match to remember. And Mousehound's goal was the goal of the season. That was quite a nice goal from what I recall. Bit of a daisy cutter maybe. Right, C+ for Selke. What are they on about? Solid A+. You would have thought so. You would have thought so. So this was our goal of the season. Mousehound. Not bad. Not bad. He's also called Mousehound, which automatically makes him far better than anything else. Right, so account says Mbamba was a decent rotation option at DM for you, winning the Europa League for Villarreal. Marvellous. Max would recommend checking out Justin Janitsek as a wide centre-back, ball-playing defender in a three-about. Fabulous. We'll have a look. Chris Norman Walker's in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you? How did Saturday go? How did it go, my dude? Dear Basis, Selke is the GOAT and I'll hear nothing else. Exactly. I'm going to play it again. Fuck it.
Davy, come on, Davy's the answer. Catching maybe a striker and just go for Darmstadt. Davy Selke, Davy Selke, Davy Selke.
Davy Selke is our star. Absolutely, no doubt about it. So, by the way, Jamie FM, thank you for the follow. And Malov, thank you for the follow, my dude. Johnson says, for fuck's sake, once again, we're dominating, miss 3 sitters, and then the opponent scores from their only chance. Or in this case, an own goal. And they say FM isn't realistic. Yeah. So Selke was scored 1 of 2 penalties at the weekend. That's fair. That's you know, it's an 80% chance, so to score at least 1, that's not too bad. So was Janitsik, apparently, says account 527. There we go, that's good to know. So we'll take a look at them in a moment. Yeah, that looks standard. Our player of the season is leaving. Romanessa was the young player of the season. Signings we've seen, goal we've seen. Top scorer, top assists. Most man of the match, highest average rating. I don't understand why they have a club award for most passes completed per 90 minutes. Weird to me. No competition awards. Highest transfer fee paid, highest transfer fee received. Timo Dangelmeyer came on in the cup game. I don't think he's got a future with us. He's slow, he can't jump, he can't tackle, he can't head, he's got no aggression. Can't pass, can't control a ball. But he has made a debut and is our youngest ever player at 16 years, 102 days old. Right, yeah, that's cool. Promoted. Nothing crazy there. So, you wanted me to look at Nazrour? Youssef Nazrour. Is an attacking midfielder currently at Elversberg. He played 600 minutes. In that 600 minutes, he did score 4 goals. It is a little bit on the low side for us to really consider as being useful information. We don't have anything on him at all. But his contract is about to expire, so let's add him. Let's get that report, see what the deal is. Maybe there's some promise there. And the other player mentioned was Janitsek. Currently at Fortuna Düsseldorf, played 1,500 minutes. His tackle win rate is too low for me, I'm afraid. And he's left-footed, so not what we're looking for at the moment. Yeah, and his possession lost. Sadly, isn't a me signing. Best 11. Season review. Let's have a look as well at those players we transfer listed. What's the interest there? When will their windows be open? We can't see that with the Saudi league, can we? There is no actual league for us to look at. Sky Bet Championship, however, Ipswich were promoted. Their transfer window in the Premier League opens Tuesday the 12th of June. So maybe around June is when we offer out. Interesting Cooper, it's just here and Veen at the moment. Interesting Gimba is Bochum and Finalization. Germany and Portugal, I think, opens on the 1st of July. Yeah, so we'll wait a little bit before trying to offer some people out. Right, so Chris got about 50-ish in. That's brilliant. You all laughed quite nicely. I didn't have to do anything weird. Well worth heading up. That's perfect. That is perfect. Hamburg drew to Regensburg in last place. Weren't Regensburg leading as well? Like, I seem to recall someone saying that Regensburg went 1-0 up. Jonsa says, never mind that. Rochelle decided on match day 29 that he wants to score 1-1 and 5 minutes left to complete the turnaround. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, no, you can't. Celebrated too early, it seems. Just conceded from a long throw-in. Big 25. Okay. I apologise for saying you can do it. Not enough information. We're going to keep on scouting there. Moxie, reasonable knowledge. We'll keep on scouting there. Jasper, extensive knowledge is good. Not adaptable. Bad at making decisions. Consistent though. Estimated wages might be on the high side. Not for sale either. Good physical profile. Aggressive. Brave. Tries long range passes. Unlikely to want to sell him though. That's probably a good buy then. KD Bar wasn't that great from what I recall. It was okay. It was decent at Ligue 2. Solid all round. Estimated wage would be lower than what he's currently on. Consistent, adaptable, hard-working. Enjoys big matches. No major concerns, really. Let's pop him in default there. 31 would bring some experience. Languages. Doesn't speak any German. But I'm sure we've got players that he can speak to in the squad, like English. We've got quite a few English players at our disposal. Sunderland have just scored against Leeds. A great goal. No, that should be something to check out after the stream is what I was going to say. Chris says he can't do a lot of things. Maybe he'll spend time at Manchester United next season. But Jonsa says, you've equalised again in the 94th minute. It's now 1 win in 17, but on the other hand, undefeated in 4, with us being extremely unlucky in 3. If we can find our scoring boots, we should at least avoid automatic relegation. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I mean, I'm guessing just even 1 win will probably make a big difference at that situation. Andre Brooks's estimated wage is decent. We've got full knowledge on him now. Compensation's good. He's got pace. Fairly consistent. Big matches. Adaptable. Determined. Again, no major concerns. That side of things. Not as good as KD Barway in the defensive capacity. Can play at left wing back as well. So we're looking at maybe between those two. Right, Zambarek was a player that we thought was probably playing as a midfielder. We still don't know enough information about him. Let's get that scouting more. Nathan Skitter, still at marginal knowledge. Keep on scouting him. Bid's been rejected. That's what I expected. Let's see if we find out anything about... No current concerns at the moment for him. We might have to say some stuff in the press. I don't want to do that. That always just feels a little bit dirty. Jonsa, 1 win would definitely make the difference. We're 1 point behind Frankfurt. The next game is now against them. Oh, come on. Like, that's it. You don't need to worry about any of the games. Just win that one. I believe in you, my dude. I believe in you. What happened with the relegation player? So, Elversberg have stayed up. Or they still... Wrong one. Oh. Is it just the one tie? No, there is a second leg, but they've got a 1-0 lead away from home. You think that Elversberg are going to stay up, surely. Surely they will stay up. Hopefully we can get some more information. But actually, no. Let's look at those guys then. So let's click on Bar, click on Brooks, and let's compare the two. So the scouts reckon that Brooks is a better signing. A B to B minus, slightly higher current ability, slightly higher potential, and he's younger. In terms of attributes, Brooks is better in the final third. Barre is better at shooting. Both pretty much the same when it comes to possession attributes. Barre is better in the air, better positioning, brings me the same tackling. In terms of physicality, Brooks just about wins out in strength. Let's look at positions. So he does prefer to be on the left. Both are considered kind of more attacking. I mean, like, no, they're all along the... Like, it's 2.5 star for everything. 3 star for everything there. Both are reasonable on their weaker foot. So let's see. Brooks was more creative. Didn't score. Barre got into screams. 0.2 expected goals per game isn't too bad. Although that is from above 2 shots. So his XG per chance is under 0.1. Headers won. Kader Barre is meant to actually be better in the air, but Andre Brooks is winning them. More pressures, better tackle win rate, wins more possession. Barre is safer on the ball, and he's on the ball more. 46.36 passes completed compared to 44.32. It gives it away less. He's far more progressive and more dribbly. That's a nickname. Say Brooks enjoying big games is a big plus, though. I disagree. Nickname. There's only going to be a handful of big games, and I find that even players that don't like big games seem to do all right as long as the structure's okay around them. Right, we've got a break coming up. In fact, in about 5 seconds. So I'm going to see you in about 3 minutes. See you then. I really don't trust Twitch's ad thing. Apparently there's still 40 seconds going, and that doesn't fit. It feels like it's been going on for far longer than 3 minutes already. So I'm back a little bit early. Obviously we won't play the game, but thank you very much, DM Basis, for redeeming it until the ad is over, so that everyone can be involved if they want to be. Incidentally, my conversation, my real big question should have actually been, what is the best chocolate bar? Because I've just gone for a club, a little bit of McVitie's Club. If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our club. Is that the best? Are you more of a trio? Is it trio? It was trio. Trio. I want a trio and I want one now. I haven't had one of them for ages. Right, we're back. I bet that makes no sense to those that have just come back from ad break. I am very, very sorry. So Lindt chocolate is by far the superior choice, no matter what the options are. Is that a biscuit or a chocolate bar? So it's a chocolate bar, but with biscuit inside. So it's chocolate covered. That particular one had salted caramel flavouring inside. I think the mint has a mint cream. It's usually a really, really good one. But so it's a biscuit chocolate bar. Cameron said penguins. That is a good shout. That is a good shout, to be fair. Good biscuits too, if we're talking purely biscuit chocolates. Absolutely. Clubs are good. Clubs, they were on sale at the supermarket. I haven't had one for a long time, but I'm definitely pleased with my decision. Right, we're back. We're going to play our last game for the mini game for the evening, and that's going to be the Journeyman. The way this works is you're going to see the first 5 clubs as depicted on a map of a player from some point throughout history. They might be an active player, they might be a retired player. For each picture, you'll see a map, you'll see a little pin as to where the club is geographically in the map, and you'll see that the years they were in that location. You'll see the clues one after another. The earlier you can guess the player, the more points you get. But let's head on over into the thing. Let's find the right widget there. There we are. And see if we can work it out from the very, very first clue. Now, something that would be really, really cool is if maybe we had clubs around the London area, because there's a lot of them and can't really tell much straight off the top, can you? So Zerachul is wondering, could it be Nabil Bentelev? Sadly, it's not. Sadly, it's not. Could it be Nicholas Anelka? Sadly, not again. We have the superior upgrade to the club bar in Ireland. It's the Purple Snack by Cadbury's. Nice, interesting. So Max has gone for Nicholas Raskin, beating DM Basis to the punch. Who's gone for Jermaine Defoe, Lampard, Ravi Matondo, Andrei Shevchenko, Nigel Reo-Coker, a very, very wide mix. We are looking for a player who was playing there around 2007 to 2008, and so far we aren't currently that close. Let's move to the next one. Now this time the player has moved slightly north and slightly west. They've spent 2 years there, from 2008 to 2010. And some more guesses that came in. We've got Jeremy Aliadier, obviously came through the ranks at Arsenal, so I see where you're going there. We've got Steve Sidwell. Could it be Lasana Diarra? Interesting shout. Interesting shout. Now, part of the problem is, as you come through these suggestions, I'm like, can I think of what teams these players came through at? These aren't currently right, I'm afraid to say. Could it be Damien Duff, says Zerachul? So let's just add one element here. This is in chronological order. You're going to see the first 5 clubs of a player's career. A player might have played for more than 5 clubs. They might have played for exactly 5 clubs. But you will see their first club. So the 2007 is their first senior contract. Could it be Danny Rose or Peter Crouch? There's at least 500 teams in London. This is unfair. It is DM Basis. It is finally I've come up with a solution to make this game last more than 1 round. Right, let's head on to the third clue, which might start to make things a little bit easier. We have someone who spent 2010 to 2019 somewhere considerably more northwest. Not quite in Scotland, just beyond Wales. So 2007 to 2008, somewhere in the southeast. 2008 to 2010, somewhere in the southeast, but just a little bit more northwest than the first club. 2010 to 2019, Someone considerably more northwest, but still staying in England. So could it be Daniel Sturridge? Or Yossi Benayoun? Or Michael Carrick? Now, Adam has said, I'll wait till 2019. Never mind. And Drew has said, no, won't be that either. Ignore me. Indeed. So they were playing in the Northwest till 2019. And we know that they've played for at least 2 more clubs since then. At least. Not, maybe it's exactly 2. Maybe it's like 6 clubs. We won't know. So it won't be Frank Lampard either, I'm afraid. Could it be Juan Mata? Juan Mata. Surely Juan Mata's career, though, started a little bit earlier than that and not in England, but I don't know. Could it be Chris Smalling? Could it be Steven Gerrard? And now Adam thinks it might be Chris Smalling as well. He thinks that's a very good shout from Max. And I've got to tell you, Max, this player then moved to Italy. And after spending time in Italy, he then ended up this year over in Saudi Arabia, because it is indeed Chris Smalling. Fabulous work there from Max. Beautiful stuff. Sarah Shaw says, fuck my life, I thought it was him, and I went, no. There you go. Sensational work. No harm in guessing either. And look at this.
Statistics. It's not the statistics. You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Well done indeed, says Eunice Gaming. We've got the applause coming in from H-Tank30, the applause from DM Bases, the applause from Zerachel, the applause from Bam Bam, a well done from Drew as well. Cameron says Rome is further south. A very good point. A very, very good point, because that is quite clearly Milan. That is very, very clearly Milan. However, it is also worth pointing out that Max did get the guess before Italy was revealed anyway. It wasn't even an attempt at Rome. I just picked the wrong city entirely. So the way I have to line this up, this is the map that FM uses for its scouting thing. Let's move on over into the stream main. It is this map, which is an SVG, so you can make it really, really big. And what I have to do is I take a screenshot of Google Maps, and I then overlay it on top of the map that FM has, and then I move the pointer to the right place. And I just went for Milan. I just completely and utterly chose the wrong city because I'm an idiot. Thank God it was got before then. So it's a fix, says Cameron. It's a fix. I mean, if we'd revealed it by that point, I think you'd be absolutely right. Geschenkarbo. Danke für das Geschenkarbo. That is an incredible word to say. It is. It sounds like one of the players' Smash names. No, that was Milan. That is definitely Milan, Tom. That is like literally lined up 1-to-1. Now, granted, the borders of the FM map isn't 100% perfect, but that is definitely Milan. Turin is a little bit more is southwest, because we've had Turin in it quite a few times. But yeah, it's what it definitely isn't. That definitely wasn't Rome. Right, I'm going for Andre Brooks, I think. Let's see what we've got going on here. We're keen. He's now asking for a lot more than what the scout report says. The scout report only just came through. So 15.5 to 20. That's under the average that we'd be looking at. So that's probably okay. KD Barre would be lower. No, I meant to click the one underneath it. KD Barre is more interested. What are we looking at in terms of personality again? We've got balanced. We've got fairly determined. We are going for Brooks. Yeah, I don't mind that. Regular starter, I think he would be. Minimum fee release clause. Clubs in Champions League, that's fine. We'll drop that down to 5%. We'll try that at 14.5, and we'll push that up to around 10 million. Let's see what that changes in appearance fee and sign-on fee. That's gone up by 900 euros. That's gone up by about 100,000. A couple of these added in, but nothing major. The yearly wage rise is the only issue there. So going up by another 150, gone up by 800. Try 4.5 and 600. Yeah, I'm happy with that. 14.5k is great. 14.5k is great. We might be able to seal a single signing within this stream tonight. That's something, right? Drew, quick question. The modern skin, I know it's not a finished thing, doesn't have player staff search. I assume that's done on purpose. That is indeed. Bear me one moment. Do I have sections open? Section metadata, is that the one? Sorry, I know that these words don't mean anything to you right now. You want to go in and you want to edit a very specific file. The file that you want to edit is called, so if you go into the Musterman Modern folder, go into sections, and then go into sidebar sections. Yes, sidebar sections. And then if you, using something like Notepad or Notepad++, and then if you search player search and search for staff search, you will see a entry that has this, that at the front of it, and that at the end of it. You just need to delete those little bits, and that will restore it. You'd have to then reload the skin. Yeah, we're not going to go with Kaidi Barwe then. Elversberg stay up. Not that we have to deal with them next season anyway, so that's fine. We've paid out 5 million to the squad and staff. Crazy money. Right, something Shevchenko. Yeah, that would kind of just about work. It stands for gifted subscription. There we go. Right, Lestri's in. Welcome in. Good morning, my dude. Usual just saying hello and then you'll catch the VOD. I hope you have had a fabulous weekend. Jonsa, I don't believe my eyes. A generational bottle job versus Eintracht Frankfurt. Cruising 1-0 up since the 10th minute. Frankfurt down to 10 minutes, and like so many times this season, concede an added time. Oh no. Oh no. Right, top goal scorer. Anton Guy is the only player to make it into the team of the year. We finished second and only had one player in team of the year, which is quite crazy. They've done that. Mbamba fails to meet target. Noel Mbamba had a target of getting a 7 rating to move up to a regular starter. He was on 6.93. Keep working hard. That's all. I'm not going to say, yep. I'm not rewarding failure. Avia signed a new contract. That's great. And that's now his release clause is far more manageable. Right, I think I'm going to submit myself to a world of pain. Tahiti save using Iconic. That is quite a go. Andre Brooks, we've got a signing. Beautiful stuff. Hopefully we'll get some more scout reports through soon as well. No worries, Drew. No worries at all. DM Basis regretted not learning a language with brief attempts at Polish and Swedish in recent years. It's so hard, isn't it? Like, they say that it becomes harder to learn a language as you get older, and it really is. It really, really is. I have probably had a book and CDs and all the things for learning Czech for the best part of 10 years now, and it doesn't stick. Doesn't stick at all. Jonsa, Zila even saved a penalty and a 1v1. I genuinely thought we might win for once. Well, the good thing is you're still within 1 point of them, aren't you? You're still within a point, so it's okay. DM Basis, the wife would like to learn Ukrainian. Perfect. Learn together. Well, that should sound like something nice that will work quite well together, but also could be quite stressful and bad. Right, Right, report on Farius. We still don't have full information there. Still on minimal knowledge. Stepanov is on extensive knowledge. So what's the deal with him here? Yep, I'm fine with that. Good in the air, determined. Lacks game intelligence. So I'm guessing that is anticipation and decision making. What, as a third choice striker? As a third choice striker, estimated wage is really, really low. Estimated wage is completely off as well. Less wages. He's dropped by 10%. I suppose that's something. Breakthrough prospect. That stuff goes. That stuff goes. We go down to 2.5 and we say 3 years. At 3k. There we go. You know, I think that is low enough risk. And then if we do have problems with injuries with the 34-year-old Selke or with Ellis Sims, we've got someone on the bench, which should be cool. John Hendry can get a contract. That should be dealt with by the director of football, realistically. He's only a lad, so that should be fine. Right, so FMGNG's got to slip off. No worries. Thank you very much for dropping by, my dude. I hope you have a lovely evening. DM Basis said I'd be fine if I was using the language. My Polish was all right as long as I keep it up and a bit on my visit. But then it just evaporates from the brain once I'm home. That's fair. The issue with German is if you try speaking it in Germany, they just reply in perfect English. There's no reward for effort. So Johnson says I'm currently on a 10-match streak of one more win and I'll close games for today. That's a classic. That is a classic. Eunice says, is the skin you're using the same available to download? No, Eunice, this is available for Patreons, but it does only work at 1600 by 900. The stuff for the stream is tailored for the fact that it is for the stream. Make things much larger, but on a smaller resolution, so that it's clear for people to see. It's not necessarily that practical, I wouldn't say, at more conventional resolutions. But as part of the Patreon offer, as you can see there, thank you very much, Adam, is you get access to all the various skin offshoots that I do and all the kind of files that I use. So you do get to play around with some of those ideas, but they aren't necessarily optimized. Tom Harl, 80, 70. I just don't know if he's good enough. His possession lost is too high. Yeah, they reckon Mbamba is a better option at centre-back than Harl. He's not the answer. That's the thing. Right, Romeo Trinco, a young centre-back. They reckon he's currently playing at his standard, which doesn't bode well. Yeah, that's a no. Filippo Mane. Estimated wage seems to be lower. Fairly susceptible to injuries. But we know he hasn't proved it. He's been playing at third division level. We'll add him to the default. He's already on the default shortlist, so we'll keep him on there. Just don't think he's right. Tomiak's far too expensive. Kofi Barmer, now he's been playing at right back and centre back and defensive midfield, so we are looking essentially here. No major cons. Attribute wise, he's okay, he can't pass. Hasn't really set the world alight. Never played at top division level. Like his loan at Go Ahead Eagles, he made 0 appearances for the senior side. So Kofi Barmer. perhaps just too much of a risk there. Sarpreet Singh, 2.8 million euros. That's a no from me. We need players that are going to be cheaper, especially when we've already got a left-footed attacking midfielder who's a starter. Christian Rivero, we still don't know estimated wage, still only on reasonable knowledge, so we'll scout more. Moxie, we've now got him up at extensive knowledge. That's marvellous. So playing for Las Palmas, who did get relegated. So in terms of top division experience, he's been playing in Turkey. He's been very good in Turkey. Moved to second division of Spain. 82%, 79, that's good. Possession losses was relative there. Wages are probably too high. And asking price is going to be a massive, massive part in this. Yeah, wages are definitely too high. Las Palmas' strong financial position means they do not feel pressured to sell him. It means it's going to be much closer to the 8.4 million than it is to the 700k. So standard behaviour here. Offer just 700,000, and we'll see how that goes there. So Knight of Knee says the trick to learn a language is to have someone close that speaks it already, so you can practice daily if possible. Sounds like exceptionally wise information there. So the issue, let me just see that there. The issue with Germans, if you try speaking it in Germany, they reply in perfect English. Max says that's true. If I talk to tourists and they talk to me in German, I automatically switch to English somehow. Just a feeling. Just to, you know. Live to Prof is in. Welcome in, my dude. Lovely to see you. How was your weekend? Johnson 4-2-3-1 is working well, but we just can't score. I'll switch to a 4-4-2 with the same instructions. If one striker isn't good enough to score all the goals, we're going to have to play with two. Makes sense, really. Should Rocco Vata be given an international call-out? Yeah, sure, whatever. Don't care. Connor winds up opponent, get him in, proper shithouse. I mean, you can't go wrong. You do need a couple of bastards in there, right? You do need a couple of bastards around. Las Palmas have rejected the £700 offer. That's what I know. We're just hoping that maybe it unsettles him a little. Mr. Tuna Fish is in. Welcome in, my dude. Now that FM25 won't be released, do you have plans to improve and release the new changes that you've made to your skin? So, as I mentioned on stream on Friday, short answer is no. I've retired from skinning. Anything that I do play around with will be available to Patreons. Whether, like with this, so for example, the changes I've made here, if I'm doing this as a full skin, that requires a complete rethink of the design. It took me like 1,000 hours to do the Musterman Iconic skin. So do I think that now that I'm making content, I can commit to 1,000 hours to making a skin and then providing support down the line? No. Just a very, very simple thing. I do not have the capacity to do it. So it's very, very unlikely. Right, Stefanov comes in. That's fine. DM Base, how easy is it to change the color scheme on the skin? Really easy. Really easy. If you pop to, it's on the Discord as well, where you've got the resources section that has a link. The link where that takes you to FM Scout or the SI forums or Sorting Out SI. There's an FAQ there which has explanations for how to change the color scheme based on the ones that already exist, or how to change it yourself. You just need to find the RGB colors that you want to use, and it's basically two. There's a series of colors called Musterman, numbered 0 to 6, which is a gradient of one color, and that Musterman here is the shades of blue. And then there's shades which are called Jim. I think there's 4 shades to that gradient, and that is for the accent color. So you just need to set the RGB for those 10 and then refresh the skin. There's also a link there for a website called colordesigner.io, which is a really, really useful place for looking at color palettes as well. So you can kind of have an idea about, you know, what might look well together. Do they recommend against offering him? That's fine, then we will ignore that. Heston says, how's the chance of survival looking? We don't know yet, Heston. So we've gone through, we've identified some targets. We've brought in a couple of players now, which is grand. Or we've agreed deals for a couple of players now. Our opponents next season, so Dusseldorf lost, so Schalke got promoted, which is marvellous. So it's Hanover, Nuremberg, and Düsseldorf relegated. It's gonna be tough. Realistically, there aren't many teams here that you would consider would be weak. Augsburg finished third. Wow. Like I'd normally be looking at maybe someone like Union Berlin, maybe someone like Freiburg, maybe someone like Heidenheim, along with the promote teams, so Hamburg and Schalke. I feel like between those six, we're likely to be the ones fighting it out. We have struggled. We have very much struggled to find targets so far. I'm hoping when the season rolls over, that will open up a few more to our interests. We also are hoping to be able to sell some players, which won't be able to happen until June at the earliest. So they've agreed some stuff with these guys. I don't want to keep any of them. In fact, let's just set for release. Do we keep Wentz as a third choice goalkeeper? He's agile. Yeah, screw it. Trigger extension. Tim Arnold's being released. He's being released. As an extension, let's trigger that. They're saying he's got promise. So, I didn't want to keep the fitness coach, I don't think. We have 3 fitness coaches. Marcus Müller is here till next season. Florian Bauer is here for another 2 seasons. Look at him, he's so happy. Christopher Boos, he's not happy. His contract's going to expire. And he's got a cautious mentality, so he's being allowed to leave. Don't offer contract. The youth ones are all up to the backroom staff. We only deal with the senior coaches. We should hopefully have a few more options through there. But we're still waiting for more scout reports to come through, hopefully in due course. An annual fee, yeah, that's fine. Recruitment meeting, no, we already have our stuff set up, which is all good. Right, and on that note, DM Basis Solve, thank you very much for dropping by, my dude. Have a lovely sleep. And as one leaves, one arrives. Welcome in, Catch 22. How was your weekend, my dude? Lovely to see you. Bulgarian contract agreed with John Hendry. There's a release clause. What is the release clause for John Hendry? 180,000 euros. Wow. Under-egged that a little, didn't you? Just a little. Live Doe Prof. So just as we've been discussing over the last few minutes, this is a stream-specific skin. It is not one that is publicly available. It is not one that has been completed. Patrons are able to get access to this skin. It will only work at 1600 by 900. But it will work at larger resolutions. It's not optimized for resolutions above 1600 by 900. Torgeles Nene. So what level? We're at extensive there. He's quick. He can't control the ball. He can't pass the ball. Nope. He hasn't played enough minutes. There's not enough there to make us go for it. We will skip all of these because we've got them in our scouting area. Mines are going to try and buy the player who's just signed a new contract. That's a bold plan. Right, into June now. We want to make sure When does the season start? Rules. Next season, 17th of August is the first. 17th of August is the first game. I feel like their seasons start earlier, don't they? Or is it? Current season started on the 11th of August, right? You can't go backwards. And yeah, it did start there. So the first game was on the 12th of August. The season started on the 11th. So 17th of August does seem to be legit there. So if we're looking at that Friday being that, and it's most likely we'll actually play our first game on the 18th or 19th. Isn't there a cup game usually the week before the season starts? Does the DFB Pokal start the week before? Overview rules. So last year it did start the week before. That's fine. First round. What teams are in the? Are we going to be in the first round if we're in the Bundesliga? Right. So 4th of August. We've got Zweite Bundesliga teams in there. You've got Bundesliga teams in that first week. So we can assume that we're going to be playing a cup game at this weekend, which means that it's up to here, I believe. So Pokal is the week before, says Carrot Cakes. Fabulous, thank you. So yeah, that will be, we're expecting that game will either be the Friday, Saturday or Sunday. So 5th of August can be our last game of pre-season. And we will look to play against someone nearby, maybe. What would be smaller reputation teams? How about Chemie Leipzig? They're a team I've heard of. So we'll do that there. That's our easy game to finish pre-season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That game's off. That's a 3-day training week. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's cool. So that will be the big game. If we invite RB Salzburg over, that's a big game. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. We're playing in Austria. So we'd want to play against somebody Austrian. How about Bleiweiss Linz, an away game? That ends our training camp. 1, 2, 3, 4. And how about Union Perg? Union Perg is a great name. I like that name for a team. Union Perg, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And how about a game against Hatcher-Koffel? Hatcher-Koffel. That will do nicely. So you're guaranteed first round against Zweite Bundesliga and Bundesliga. Perfect. Thank you, Carrot. Jonsa finally, after 18 games straight without a win, it's a 1-0 win over Wolfsburg, and in the most mental fashion ever. Boris Tomiak, a centre-back who identified as a possible makeshift striker in January, scores the only goal. He genuinely has better movement according to the eye test than any of the actual strikers, and most importantly, out of the drop zone. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. And that also means I can finally go to sleep. Enjoy your rest, Jonsa. Enjoy your rest. So Reggae Boy is thinking of starting a new save, undecided between Deportivo La Coruña or Sampdoria. Oh, Sampdoria will always get my shout because they got relegated to Serie B, and they are such a classic team as far as my fond memories of the 90s. But that's a very personal thing. So it's ultimately down to whichever ever seems more exciting. Max says, meanwhile, Trisoldi scored more season goals than Harry Kane for me. That is crazy. That is crazy. Right, so we've got our pre-season sorted out there. It's just the 5 games. But that is, like Jonsa, I think that Jonsa has freed me as well. Now that he's won a game, I can go to sleep too. We're gonna call it quits there. I think we've got a good idea of some of our targets. We're waiting for scout reports on others. I'll probably carry on until the pre-season for our next stream. So on Wednesday evening, Wednesday 6 p.m, we're going to have the premiere of the Martin Anselmi video at 6 p.m. Straight afterwards, we're going to be streaming both on YouTube and Twitch. So I'd love to see you guys then. Thank you very much for coming along. I'm going to, for YouTube guys, I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you so much for being here.